Good evening, everyone. Hope you all enjoyed the awfully silly that just happened. It seemed great on my end. I am Kungfufruitcup once again here with you all after a few weeks. So it's nice to be back with everybody. I know it's been a little bit, and usually I'm really bad at introducing myself, so I'm really proud for remembering that tonight. In terms of introductions, I am here tonight with Limcube. Hello, how's it going?
Hello, good evening, good day. Pretty
Yes,
good, pretty
good
good.
evening, good morning.
You never know. It's pretty early here. Yep.
So Lim here, in the early hours, has joined us to show off some Breath of the Wild, which I'm really excited about because not only do I absolutely adore Zelda games, but Breath of the Wild is so great and so full of glitch madness that I've been so excited to see all of the awesome stuff that he has prepared to show us this evening. So I just like to get into things a little bit by asking and I know we've talked before at a previous GDQ,
Hmm.
and we talked about potential stuff for Breath of the Wild 2, and sadly that
True.
hasn't come about.
Also true.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was basically just after E3 because I was at SGDQ 2020 for the Dog Treasure run, which was really fun, really good. Um,
Wait, was
but
it 2019?
no, that was
Or GDQ?
2020. That was like the first online one, I
Oh,
think,
first
because
online
I
one.
was
Okay,
in
yes,
I was on the one before that was in person. In
right.
person. And then on that E3, before the event, they announced that the game is going to be a thing. Wait, no, that's not even true. Wait, 2019. Oh God, it's so long ago.
I
They
know.
announced it 2019, but I was also on HDQ then, but in person. And then it was already 1 year past. Wait, wait, I don't even know anymore. When did this all start? In 2020, right?
Yes, in
Okay,
terms
we
of
talked in
pandemic.
2020 and we were like, oh, this is already 1 year ago. Surely we'll hear something soon.
Right.
And then we still don't really know much. We have like a 30-second teaser.
Yeah, but hopefully we will and get some more information. Anyway, that's not why we're here tonight, but it's just funny to be like, hey, well, we mentioned ideas for it or your thoughts, and we're still waiting. So maybe by the next time I talk to you,
It's still, it's still like everything we talk about at this point.
yeah.
I mean, there's still and there will always be new things to do in this game, but it would be nice to get something fresh.
Yes, exactly. But yes, there are new things to see in this game, especially since the last time
Yes.
it was shown off at a main stage GDQ. So we get to see some of that tonight, which I'm really excited about. What's been like your main category with this game lately?
So I have done everything that you can do for the main boards, but recently, very recently, I've been messing around with doing any percent, but in master mode. And that used to be just like a harder and more annoying version. But now master mode has like strats that makes it an entirely new run. If anybody has played master mode, there's like a Lionel on the Great Plateau, which is supposed to scare you away until much later. But there are strats now where you can kill that Lionel in the first like 10 minutes of the run, and you take that Lionel's equipment and immediately beat the boss with that equipment. It's a pretty crazy run. But before that, I was actually doing 100% again, which is an absolute trooper of a run. Like even the record is still like 17 hours long. There's a lot to do, but
Right.
it's still fun. You get to see the entire game. There's so much to see, so it's a fun run too.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I would say maybe would you say the least enjoyable is getting all of the Korok seeds, or is this something different
No,
you wouldn't think about?
I used to think that for like a long time, just because they're obviously all over the place, and if you don't know where they are, it seems kind of annoying.
Right.
But it is actually super fun to do because once you have figured out the movement between the Korok seeds, it becomes like very satisfying to just like okay, one and another one, and sometimes you get two at the same time and everything. It's kind of cool
Oh,
actually.
that's cool. I'm sure it's actually become really fluid in that aspect.
Oh,
What
it's
would you
crazy. Yeah.
say is like either the hardest or least fun thing to do in 100%?
In 100%, we are lucky that we don't need to do the worst or like the hardest glitch in the game in 100%, which I won't show off here today because it requires like a metronome and like extreme precision, and it will always fail. It rarely works. I don't know. I think in 100% is that sort of run where there's a lot of small tricks overall, but what really makes that run fast is constantly knowing where to go. Because
Mhm.
having memorized 120 shrines, 900 Korok seeds, 80 quests, and everything, and always knowing what step to take next, where to run, and where to like move towards, that's the hardest thing. It's not really one
Yeah.
thing. It's just like the knowledge that you need. The hardest thing in general to do, and this is something we figured out last year, is a trick that allows us, and there was always like a holy grail, to enter shrines that are still under the ground. There's like shrines in the game where there's like a little pedestal and you have to activate them first. That was always
Mhm.
rumored to potentially be possible to enter those early. Being able to do that is extremely hard. I will actually do it today, but an easy version.
Awesome. Okay, great. Well, I can't wait to see that. And I was just curious about what's like the best strat that you used in the master mode to take down that Lionel? I'm really curious.
That's the funniest part about the run, because you use
Like a
magnesis.
use what?
You use magnesis.
Oh,
So there's like right next to the magnesis shrine, there's this big magnesis boulder, this metal boulder, and you just constantly use like the metal boulder to smash against the line that does 100 damage on each hit, and you hit the line like 40 times with the boulder.
that's amazing. Okay.
Because there's no weapons on the Great Plateau that would allow you to kill it efficiently otherwise, so it's
Right.
pretty cool to see.
So you just gotta hit him a bunch with a boulder. I mean, of
Yeah,
course. Why wouldn't you do that in a game like this? Okay, well, I
true.
need to see that sometime. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing that tonight because we're seeing more.
Normal mode. This is gonna be normal mode, yeah.
So we'll be seeing normal mode. So I wanna hand the floor off to you so that you can start showing us all of the things you have in store. So, we can switch over to the game and, get started. I can let you do a countdown, and we can get, I don't know, we'll get into it. And remember, I am here on the side for those of you in chat. If you have questions that you'd like to ask Lim as he's going along or anything for clarification, feel free to post in chat, and I can help dictate that, for him as he's going along. And then otherwise, I'm just here hanging out. I get to enjoy this with you all.
Exactly. Well, I'm good to go whenever. We can just start whenever I press new game here. This is going to be a dedicated glitch showcase run, so there's no official timing. We can start whenever I press new game. And it's going to count us down from 3. So 3, 2, 1, go.
Let's go.
Yep, here we go. So the thing that I am most excited about, and we already slightly touched on it, is whenever there's Breath of the Wild speedrunning on a GDQ event, it's usually always a snapshot. It's a snapshot from where the game stands right now.
Mhm.
And that obviously always evolves. Like this one year, people used this strategy to move around. This other year, people used this one. But there's actually a lot of strats that have never made it into one of those runs because they were found, and then something else was found that was like more optimal for a specific run, and it never was really shown. And I'm going to be basically showing everything here.
So
And obviously, when I say everything, this is impossible. There's like so many glitches. I picked out a lot of them that I think are either impressive to look at, or even some that I think are very easy to learn for people at home that maybe want to learn a new glitch to show off, which is why I'm going to be taking extra time to explain everything.
yes, and that's what we make a lot of time for. If any of you here tend to watch the show, have watched episodes before, you will know that we are we love speedruns, but we love learning about the speedruns and the things behind them, the glitches that go into them. So we're not about PBs on the show. We're about like the actual breakdowns, and it's so much more fun. So we always have people coming in being like, "Why aren't they going faster? Why did they stop?" And it's like, well, you see, we want to get into the meat of it. So that's what we're
Exactly. Exactly.
So
So in this first room,
what's the first thing we're gonna do?
the first thing we're going to do is we're going to be escaping the Shrine of Resurrection. And usually people do that by going through the door. That's the version that makes sense. But we're not going to be doing that. We're going to be clipping through this wall. So basically when a run starts, we immediately do the first glitch. And the one that we're going to be doing is a scope clip. This is actually a thing in many different speedruns when you use first person in a game. In this case, the scope feature. Usually Link gets like placed behind the camera. The camera gets positioned where Link is, moving Link slightly back. So by running into the corner of this wall and then opening the scope at the right time, we can basically clip through the wall. And this is extremely useful because not only is there another door we would have to open, which is a 40-second cutscene, but the cutscene trigger for the big opening cutscene that everybody knows, it shows the logo, it shows you the massive overworld. It's a very small cutscene trigger, and by clipping out of this room and then climbing up the wall on the side here, we will be able to completely skip this cutscene throughout the entire playthrough. Unless we come back here and enter the cutscene trigger, we won't be doing that, which is going to be in our favor because this cutscene has a flag basically attached to it that tells the game to stop at 5 a.m. So this is how the game looks at 5 a.m. The game wants the opening cutscene to always look like this. It's like very pretty with the sun. It looks very nice. But by dodging that cutscene, the game will never start the time. So it will always be 5 a.m. And this is actually specifically nice for like a showcase like this. Everybody that has played this game will know that it becomes a lot harder at night, because at night we have these like random spawns of the skeleton enemies. The keys or like the bats start flying around everywhere. They can be super annoying, specifically the electric ones. So
Well-
having those out of the way is nice.
So for 100%, doesn't that mean you have to start the timer though, or do you not do it right
Yes. No, you do. In 100% you would watch that cutscene.
away? Okay.
But we're not going to be doing that today because the content that I'm going to be playing doesn't need the time to start.
Right. Awesome.
And another big advantage of this is because we haven't watched the first cutscene, the weather is also going to be consistent, which is great because everybody knows how bad rain can be, and it's only going to be raining in specific areas that are hard-coded for it to rain in.
Like the Zora's domain, basically.
For example, exactly. That it would still be raining there.
And
But
like the plains with the like mushroomy trees.
those ones, that would still work. It would still be thunderstorming there, and there's this other like shrine where you have to get struck by lightning.
Oh right.
That would also still would still rain there, but in most of the overworld it wouldn't be raining.
Okay,
So I'm just moving
right, yeah.
along here pretty much. I'm moving towards one of the shrines, and the thing is this: Zelda just talked to us and told us to go and follow the Sheikah Slate. And the Sheikah Slate is currently showing us the location of the Great Plateau Tower, which, if we open the map, we don't have the map right now, it's like over here, so I'm not really there right now. I'm going to the Stasis Shrine. And the reason I do this is because it's faster, and this is something we do in the speedrun. Because activating the Great Plateau Tower comes obviously with like lots of cutscenes, and then once you get those cutscenes, when you land on the ground, the old man, the mysterious old man, shows up and tells us what to do. But in speedruns, we go to the shrine right away. There's only one problem, which is we can't enter. Because the light here is still off. You can't actually enter the shrine yet. So what do? We have to somehow find a way in anyway. And this is where like the first big glitch happens. And this is what we call shield clipping. And it uses a mechanic called skew. So I just did a shield jump on this like sloped wall. This is a pretty steep slope, and I shield jumped kind of against the slope.
Okay.
But because I never properly ended the shield surf by like pressing B, the game has remembered Link's position during that shield surf. So he was basically shield surfing against the wall now. If I now jump, shield jump, and unequip my shield, that position on that wall will be replayed. You will see this here when I unequip, how Link was kind of like flicking to the right. I do it again, just so people can see it better. Flick to the right. That was the position he was in when I was shield surfing on the slope. And when this position gets replayed, after it gets replayed, Link also flicks back. And that flick back is what we use to push Link through walls.
Oh, wow.
So I shield surf there at a specific position to now be able to set Link up accordingly towards the wall, do the shield jump again, and if I do it right, which stasis clip can be weird sometimes, that flick will push me inside the wall. And now the door...
I'm sorry, using the axe, does that help with your position?
Yeah, that's just for the setup to actually position Link on the wall accordingly.
Awesome.
So this is where they kind of messed up. Like they disabled this terminal, but the elevator is not disabled. So we can actually just enter the elevator. Which looks kind of funny this way, because Link is just kind of walking in place.
But you just have to examine it and you're good to go.
Yeah. Yeah, eventually he will enter.
Amazing.
And the thing is, if we do this for all 4 shrines, we will still get the paraglider. And I can nerd out because we have like some long cutscenes here a little bit about the Great Plateau.
Okay.
The Great Plateau skip has always been the holy grail, specifically for any percent speedrunning, because 50% of the speedrun is doing the Great Plateau, watching these cutscenes, and unlocking these runes. So the problem is, and people always misunderstand this, I think Gymnast did a video on this very early on, which is still the best explanation. The Great Plateau is, around the Great Plateau is not a barrier. The Great Plateau is basically like an inverted death cube, which sounds scary, but it is kind of what it is. So when you start the game for the first time, as long as you're on the Great Plateau, you're good to go. Whenever you're anywhere else in the world but the Great Plateau, let's say in Hyrule Castle, in a Death Mountain, in Zora's Domain, the game will void you out and send you back to the Great Plateau until you have the paraglider. As soon as you get the paraglider, yeah, that inverted death cube will not be there anymore, and you can go wherever you want to go. And there has never been a way to skip this. You can actually leave the Great Plateau for a little bit and chill in like specific places of the world, but as soon as you try to move away a little bit further, as soon as you leave that cube, you will get voided out, end up back on the beginning of the Great Plateau.
Okay, so you have to do these shrines.
You have to do these shrines, and you can also not, this is something that people ask, you can also not skip the rune back there in the beginning and just walk here, because the monk will literally tell you to get the rune. It won't give you the spirit orb until you get the rune as well. So you can't skip any runes, you can't skip any monks. And I talked about earlier that there is actually ways now to enter shrines that are still underground. So some people ask, hey, can you not enter the DLC shrines? The DLC has like 4 shrines on the Great Plateau. Can you not enter those early and then get the paraglider faster this way? And you can't, because what the game tracks for in order to decide if it wants to give you the paraglider is not spirit orbs, but, and we'll see this in a second here, it checks for how many shrines you have completed. Interesting fact here. We wait a little bit to, this is for every shrine, we wait a little bit to skip the cutscene because it's faster. But here, if we see the shrine symbol, there's a spirit orb symbol and a shrine symbol. The shrine symbol is what the game checks for. This has to be at 4, so the game will give you the paraglider. But DLC shrines don't increase that counter, because 120 is the max. So there's no way, basically, right now to skip the Great Plateau, and we have no lead. It's probably not going to happen for a while. But we never know with this game. But that's at least where we stand right now, so we have to do all 4 basic shrines and get the runes.
So now you've never met this person, based on how you've played, and you just ask him for a paraglider.
Exactly, and I have no idea who this could possibly be. Just seems like a suspicious old man.
Of course.
No idea. But yeah, that's as far as the Great Plateau skip is concerned. Again, there is technically ways to leave this plateau for a little bit, but you won't get far. And all of the theories, like even if you technically found a way to wrong warp into the final boss fight, the second you would get there, you would still get voided out because you don't have the paraglider. So it's looking really bad as far as that's concerned. But let's talk about some movement glitches. So we have now clipped through the wall, we've gotten our first rune, and Stasis has in the past been the most useful rune for movement because you can use it on an object, charge that object up, and in this case, I'm gonna change the direction of the object a little bit, and then just ride the boulder, for example. That's like that's the classic way to move around in the game. Stasis an object and use that momentum to our advantage.
Right, but you can't usually stay on it directly. You have to, don't you often like do a jump right before or something?
It just matters that you basically stand in the right spot. Like there, I tried to stand basically exactly in the direction the arrow was sending me, so there's like no collision. I was just like still standing on top of it. That works pretty well.
Okay, great.
But the next strat is going to be a little bit different, and this has been shown off at GDQs before, so this is a bullet time bounce. Let's pause for a second, because usually people, this split, and this is exactly a good point for why this show is great in my opinion, this split has like 6 tricks right in like a minute. There's like 6 major tricks in a minute, and they just happen, and when you see this in a real run, you don't even know what's happening, but we actually get to slow down and talk about this. So a bullet time bounce is a trick where we hit an enemy with our shield in bullet time, and the enemy is usually ragdolling, so it's like falling over. When the enemy ragdolls, the hitbox of the enemy pushes Link away. And this always happens. If you just shield jump on this bokoblin, it will push Link away like a tiny bit. But bullet time in this game messes up the speed that you get from this interaction. If this interaction happens in bullet time, so Link lands on a shield on an enemy in bullet time, he goes really far, like really far.
Can you explain just another definition of bullet time again?
So bullet time in this game is just basically using your bow mid-air. If you do that, the game slows down.
Oh, when it slows down, right.
Right, and you can aim at your targets better.
Right.
That's what bullet time is called. And because the time gets slowed down, it's easily done probably that the game does some miscalculations of the speed. So this trick only works on frozen enemies, because frozen enemies are the only enemies that when you hit them with a shield, they fall over. With the only exception of the red bokoblin. This is the weakest enemy in the game, and a normal shield jump on top of them will make them fall over, or ragdoll as we call it. And thankfully there's 3 red bokoblins here. So I'm gonna lure these bokoblins in a spot by shooting my arrow on the ground, and then shield jump on top of them. And just before I hit them, I will use my bow button to get into bullet time. So this can take maybe 1 or 2 tries. So I'm going to shoot specific spots here, wait for them to walk up. And then just as I'm about to hit them, here, I went to the bullet time, right? Mm-hmm. So as soon as I'm going to collide with this bokoblin, there's going to be a little orange spark. I'm going to press Y, which is the button that makes Link shield spin. That will stop the bullet time from being active. And I messed it up because I pressed it too early, because I was too focused on explaining. But obviously, also usually I don't pause the game right before, so this is not how this looks like. I will do the same steps again now, but without the pausing, and then we will actually see Link go into the skies.
Right. I've definitely had other guests that have that happen as well. They're like, "Wow, usually I don't pause, and it's much more consistent because we're just
exactly
going." So we're drawing them over, and then you, do the hit, and then you fall, and
right. And this is how far we go now. Pretty far. Obviously, this is not how far you usually go. The only reason we go this far is because of the bullet time. So we use bullet time to speed Link up a lot. And now we're in the air, and we realize we don't have a glider. So this is kind of bad, because even though we are going really fast, the game still keeps track of fall damage. Thankfully, there's a way to prevent this too, which is by doing something called a fall damage cancel. So by throwing your weapon, like I did there, you can already see Link just basically was about to throw his weapon away, and then unequip an item, for example, the shield. The fall damage will not happen. I don't know exactly the game mechanics that happen there, but essentially the second when I unequip the shield there, the game recalculated the fall damage. So the second I did that is when the game actually thought this is where I started falling from. So it was only like a meter or something, so I didn't take any fall damage.
Interesting. Yeah, it must be like priority based.
Yeah, something along those lines. And it's actually good that this failed, because I didn't even get to explain it. This is going to be another shield clip. I'm still going to go a little bit faster because it's cold here and we don't have gear to protect us from the cold.
Right. Might as well pause.
But same mechanic. There's a slope here. I just used my shield and jumped on that slope. So this skew position is saved again. So the difference here is we can actually go for something here called an extended shield clip. And I don't know if my skew is good for this. It doesn't look great right now. Nope. Let me get rid of my skew.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Looks like I was waiting on my end, but it looks like it was not on my end. So I just wanted to make sure. Looks like Lim is not with us for the moment. We'll see what happens. I know, everybody hang on. It's going to be okay.
Oh no. Oh no. Is it back?
Okay, here we go. Yeah. Hi, Lim.
Hello. Okay.
Hello. Yeah, it looks like things are still kind of correcting.
Okay, thank you. This should only happen once. I don't know if there was like, sometimes I get this random reset, but it only happens rarely. And I think that was perfect though, because we're still on the ideal frame for me to explain this. I never unpaused the game.
Okay, woo. Okay, let's go.
Which is great. So this is the frame I'm looking for. It's again a shield jump. And by pausing the game exactly on this frame, I'm able to do 6 backflips and do nothing. This actually happens sometimes. The extended shield clip is pretty hard, but the advantage is kind of obvious. In the previous shrine, when I went for the clip, I was only able to clip into the side of the shrine, and then I still had to actually enter the elevator. But if you get the extended shield clip, and again, it's frame perfect and not super consistent, lots of runners won't go for this, but I wanted to show it off. Let's see, again, this should be the right frame. Link is like half in the wall.
Yes.
Not getting lucky yet, but you can see the idea. So this wall, unfortunately, is actually... Hopefully I got a save here, because my shield is also breaking. This wall, the door wall, is thicker than the wall on the side. So the side wall is thin. We can clip through with a normal shield clip, which I did for the Stasis Shrine, the first shrine.
Right.
But the door is thicker. So you can't just... I'm panicking now whenever like something is happening on my stream, but I think it should be fine. The wall is thicker, so we need that extended shield clip to make this work. I hope I can get it. It looks a little bit cursed right now. Now I'm too committed though.
It's okay. I mean, again, feel free to take multiple attempts for stuff like this, and then also, my question was going to be, why through the door in this one and the wall in the other one? Because I know you said that it is different at points of entry, or like, you know, this one is more.
So in stasis, after we clipped through the wall, I was able to kind of enter to the elevator right away. So I could actually enter the elevator. We remember Link was like kind of stuck in the ground. For Cryonis, you can't do that because the elevator is too high. So you have to do you have to do 2 shield clips usually. Okay, I don't know what's going on at this point. You have to do 2 shield clips to make it to the elevator.
Okay.
But if you clip through the door, that is obviously not the case. Okay, we eventually got it. But usually that either works first try or it doesn't. But we made it eventually. My only problem right now is my shield. We might have to get a little backup.
Right, because it's low.
But yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, there you go. Okay, so it's the same concept as the first one, just at a different angle. And like you said, the wall is...
And it's frame perfect. The other one is not frame perfect. You just have to unequip your shield. But hitting that right frame to be stuck in the door. So what basically happens is you're stuck in the door and you do another shield jump mid-air. That's why it's frame perfect. I have to time when I'm halfway through the door and I do another shield jump mid-air. So it's basically 2 shield jumps stacked on top of each other.
We just didn't... It was just very hard to tell that you did that second jump because you were probably in the middle of it.
Exactly. You can't really see it as a jump because when it happens, you're like in the wall. Okay, this is gonna be really hard because my shield is probably gonna break on me.
Oh, okay.
But let's see what I can do. Ideally, what we would do here is do this little surf and then jump from the rising Cryonis block to reach the wall of... Oh! I have no idea how that still worked, but I'll take it. I did not think I had enough height there, but we still got it. So we did basically a shield jump of the rising Cryonis block to get even more height to take that little shortcut. So instead of going like around, we can jump up right away. This was like a super early strat in any percent.
How do you make sure that your timing is correct to get that like maximum height?
It's a little lenient, but not very lenient. I think when people first start learning any percent, this is surprisingly one of the hardest tricks.
Yeah.
Like the bullet time bounces where you fly through the entire map look really cool, but they're honestly easier, a lot of them, than what this just was. But with muscle memory and like understanding how the Cryonis block rises from the water, you will be able to understand it.
And I feel like just even the timing switching between like activating the Cryonis and being able to jump on it and like do the shield jump with the in time, I guess I should say.
Exactly.
Trying to do it all in time before it gets too high up. I feel like would be difficult. There's another bullet time.
Yeah, I was focusing on the timing there because this one is pretty tight timing. I got a really good angle though, so if we get super lucky, I doubt it, but if we get super lucky, I might be able to show off something else. This is the almost ideal angle. You can have a little bit more height. I can't believe that this worked out. Wow. So this is pretty rare. This is what we call unloaded magnesis, and I just walked in, right? The
How?
reason I was
Yeah.
able to do that is because I went there so fast that the shrine wasn't loaded in properly. I couldn't explain there because if I had paused the game, the shrine would have loaded in.
Yeah.
But this is actually rare.
So how do you use
Nowadays,
it then?
so usually you clip as well, and for this one, most runners go for those 2 shield clips. The only shrine that people clip in through the door is Cryonis, because, like I said, that strat is hard, it's frame perfect. And for Cryonis, it at least is somewhat consistent. For the other shrines, people go for the double clip. I will also do that. Actually, I won't do that for bombs because I'm going to show something else. But yeah, that was really cool. Actually, I did not
Yeah.
expect that to happen.
That was awesome.
I need to also talk about the fact that what I'm doing here is the original any percent route. The current world record uses this route, but there's currently some people are currently working on a change of the any percent route with a new strat that I haven't shown yet. I will explain it completely after the Great Plateau.
Okay.
Because I wanted to take some time for that. That's the strat that I talked about, the one that wasn't shown during the last GDQ. But yeah, this is the route that the current world record uses for any percent. And this unloaded Magnesis Shrine would kill countless runs. Like, even if you go there all the way, like I did, sometimes the shrine still randomly loads in, and then you obviously lose time. This was like the fastest possible because I didn't even have to clip. I could just run in.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, somebody wanted to know how much time it saved, like, for you to land and actually go in unloaded.
It really depends. I'd say for most people, this saves like 10, 15 seconds because it's usually how long it takes most people to set up the clip and then actually do the clip. But if you're really fast at the clip, you get everything first try, you're super quick, it doesn't save, it maybe saves like more like 8 to 10, but it definitely is nice. And also the Magnesis clip is one of the most annoying ones, so being able to not have to do that is great. But yeah, we have made it past Magnesis, which is the 3rd shrine. There's still one more shrine. And we're going to be using Stasis again for this. Which I used earlier. But this time we won't be going up. We will be going horizontal. We're basically building ourselves a little surfboard with this metal slab. And then we're going to be going for another one of those bullet time bounces. This one here is a bit annoying because we, as you can see, we don't shoot an arrow first. We just kind of wait for this Bokoblin to walk up to us. And his back will be facing the perfect direction for us to go to the bomb shrine. Or towards the bomb shrine.
That's awesome. I see.
And again, the fall damage cancel, I explained that earlier.
Right.
Throwing a weapon and then unequipping your item allows us to avoid taking fall damage here. Now, this is going to be interesting. I don't know. Okay, let's hope for the best. Okay, what I did there is when I shield jumped on this wall to again set up a shield clip, I unequipped and then re-equipped my shield super quickly. This way, sometimes you can save durability. Obviously, every weapon and even shields in this game have durability. Right. By quickly unequipping and re-equipping mid-air, you trick the game and you don't lose durability. If I didn't do that, it would have probably be broken now. Ooh, but I didn't actually. It looks like I didn't get skew. Yep, you can see Link, when I'm shield jumping here, is not moving at all. There's no flick like earlier. So we'll have to do this again and hope again that our shield survives. Looks good. And we'll try this again. And this time we got in. And this is a showcase, right? Like now I can't enter the elevator. It's too high. It's too high. Right. Like this is the case for the other shrines as well. So we'll have to do a second shield clip to get in.
Oh wow.
And
that was so fast.
it was still pretty fast, but it doesn't look slow, like you just said, but it's still faster to only clip once, which is why if you can get the clip through the door first try in Cryonis, it is faster, but doesn't always happen.
For sure. With the durability thing, yeah, I'm curious. There's still something in chat. Can you do that with any weapon or shield or anything?
Any shield. There is other ways that I'm going to be talking about later to manipulate and multiply durability for any equipment in the game. You can make extremely high durability weapons that otherwise would be low durability. And
interesting.
A trick that we'll be working towards later. But for now, this what I just did, the little shield jump, unequip, re-equip thing, that only works for shields.
Okay.
So we just unlocked the bombs rune, and I said before in the past, stasis was our #1 rune for movement. Bombs is now by far, and not only because of what I'm gonna do here, the best rune for movement in this game. Since we are in a shrine, we're gonna be using the wind bomb technique here, which we can only do by using bombs. And I will slow down for this.
You can shut off more than once as well. I mean, I know we'll see it later on.
Exactly, we'll see tons of them. That's going to be our main movement in the overworld. Right. But what we will essentially be doing is we're going to be lining up 2 bombs in the air by, again, using bullet time. So I'm going to be jumping, and this is the first mechanic that comes to play. When Link jumps and you press a bomb mid-air, he doesn't pick it up, he just lets it drop like this. So it kind of just drops. This only happens when you're mid-air. And we'll be using that for this wind bomb. So if we jump, drop a bomb, and then go into bullet time, this is what this looks like. We can see Link jumps, he lets the bomb fall, and we are in bullet time, so we're moving slowly now. That's step 1. And then for step 2, we're gonna be placing the second bomb after a little bit of time has passed. So we're placing the first bomb, and then we're placing the second bomb. And you can maybe already kind of see where this is going. So the bombs are lined up now behind Link. At the beginning, it's the round bomb. Between Link and the bomb is the square bomb. So if we blow up the round bomb, it's gonna blow up and blast the square bomb into Link. And you can already see how he was like basically falling over there. That made sense so far. But if we do it in the right direction, and that's what I'm gonna be doing here, we can use this to basically jump. In this case, to like jump over this wall. So the first bomb blew up, hit the second bomb into Link, and we were able to skip the shrine this way. Right now, that doesn't actually look too overpowered, but later on we will be able to use the paraglider out of these wind bombs to carry all of the momentum from that explosion into the glider, and we will be gliding at the speed of that jump. So we can get a ton of speed.
That was so fast.
Yeah, and the great thing about those is also, even though there's bombs exploding, this always only does 1 heart of damage, because the damage that we take from this trick is not the damage from the explosion, it's the damage from the bomb hitting Link, which is just hard-coded. If Link gets hit by an item, it's 1 heart every time.
Right. Yeah, because if a bomb explodes you, especially this early on, you will absolutely get KO'd.
You will, yeah. I would have died there. It's not exactly 3. It is actually 3 hearts of damage exactly, but in normal mode, Link has something called one-shot protection. So if you get hit by a bomb now with full health, you actually survive. But later, if I have like 4 HP and I only have 3 hearts, it would deal 3 damage. But one-shot protection helps you to not always get one-shot. It obviously feels frustrating if you do get one-shot.
Yes. Yeah, I've done that by accident.
So I'm gonna go for this, and either it's gonna look cool, or it will be able to show why wind bombs are not that good if you don't have the paraglider yet. And I don't even know what happened there. Well, I actually kind of do what happened. I kind of know what happened. And I will talk about this more once we have the paraglider. But let me try one more time.
Okay. You're just lining up your shot, right? And then you go.
Okay, we actually got it here. So here we survived, but you can see the only reason I survived is because my angle was like pretty low to the ground. If I had done the setup for this wrong, I wouldn't have been able to do that fall damage cancel I did earlier, because Link is in the ragdoll state. He's like rolling all over the place.
Right.
And you can't throw your weapon. So you can't do the glitch I did earlier to prevent fall damage. So I would have just died if I was too high.
Yeah.
So wind bombs are actually really risky if you are not using, if you don't have the paraglider yet. We are about to get that though. Because we have now completed all 4 shrines. And we can meet up with the mysterious old man on top of the Temple of Time. This is a fan favorite. Very mysterious. This is a fan favorite, which often fails. I'm gonna see if I can get it.
Oh, yeah.
the good old tree launch up here. So again, using stasis for this one to basically charge up the tree, and then just holding onto the tree and taking the ride up the temple. And then that's a great plateau. We get the paraglider.
Yeah, I also think of the terminal montage video.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, well, I guess this is actually still used in the any percent record now.
Mhm.
But this thread technically is probably not going to be in the runs anymore because of the new route, if it becomes reality. Because we will be using a different glitch pretty much throughout the entire plateau, and I'm going to explain this after I
Great.
get the tower. And you may ask, why are you getting the tower? Why did you even go through the struggle of doing all of these wall clips and everything if you're getting the tower now? And this is because if you get the tower after the Great Plateau, after you meet the king here, what a surprise, it was the king after all.
Whoa.
After getting the king, meeting the king here, when you are done with getting the tower, he doesn't show up there anymore. So you save like a minute, because usually there's a cutscene around the tower. But now that we are done with the Great Plateau, we can save that minute. Here's the wind bomb again, but this time we have the paraglider. So now we can use the momentum from it, and it transfers into the paraglider. So now we can glide really quickly to the tower.
Yeah, so I feel like it's
And
easier to get up there from where you are now
exactly.
as well.
So this is going to be our main movement for short distance, and we consider this a short distance, surprisingly, travel. What we'll be using for long distance travel is what I'm going to go over, and I really explain it because there's not that many YouTube tutorials for this out yet, and maybe somebody can learn something. I get asked for this trick a lot still because it's still very new. It was found in early September of this year by Legend of Link, who is an absolute legend, and found like so many glitches for this game. It's incredible. Another big one we'll talk about later. But we have now activated the tower. I'm obviously skipping the cutscenes here. Still in the spirit of speedrunning. We've activated the tower. And again, usually, if we jump down from here, the old man would show up and tell us to beat a shrine. But we've already beaten all 4 shrines, so the quest is finished and he's not going to show up anymore.
Perfect.
Big reveal of the map. This is probably going to be the only map I'm going to be getting in this run, because getting this tower actually activates every shrine in the game. So if I had not gotten this tower, every shrine in the overworld would have been in the same state than the ones on the plateau where we can't activate the terminal. And while we could have clipped, not activating the terminal means you can't warp back there. Activating the terminal is what unlocks the shrine as a warp point, not beating the shrine. To show this off, if I wanted to warp to Magnesis now, I'm pressing A right now, I can't. Because I've never activated the terminal, I've only beaten the shrine. So getting the tower is gonna unlock all of the warping that we want to do in the run. And yeah, it's literally faster to go through this cutscene than clipping into the shrines because it unlocks warping.
Yes, that makes sense.
But yeah, before I talk about this big glitch, which is going to be our main movement from now on for big long distance traveling, let me actually explain how this works. So this is called the bow lift smuggle slide, or BLSS for short, or I'm mostly just going to call them slides.
Okay.
And again, this was found in September, and you've already seen so much. You've seen the wind bombs, the BTBs, so you would wonder how on earth would you possibly find something where you can move even more efficiently, and that's what I'll show. So this all starts by doing a glitch called bow sliding. Bow sliding is done super easily. You hold out your bow like this, so you don't aim with it, so you don't hold the bow button, you tap it. So Link basically holds the bow in his hand like this. If we now press B and then instantly after press plus, so Link basically still has the bow in his hand, and then unequip our shield, or remove it, I think it both like unequip like this, we are now bow locked. Bow locked means, and you can look specifically at Link's arrow, when I press B here, the arrow disappears, but the bow doesn't. So I'm locked. Link is locked. The bow, he can't unequip the bow. He's forced to hold the bow. This is called bow lock. And by now jumping and holding the B button, I'm going to be jumping forward and then only hold the B button and forward. I'm going to be moving like this. Looks a bit unnatural.
Right.
Link is basically walking right now, but because he's bow locked and his like state is locked, it looks unnatural. It looks like he's sliding around. over the ground.
This is so
This
exciting.
it looks very satisfying, honestly,
Yeah.
because you can like go up slopes. And the cool thing is this even scales with movement speed because in the background Link is walking here, but it just doesn't play the same animation. So this is the base of the next glitch, and obviously doesn't look very broken yet. But we're going to be warping back to the Great Plateau Tower to get some extra height and show what makes this state broken.
So excited. Yeah, this is so fun. If you've never seen this movement,
Yeah.
you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, so basically, we're going to be getting into the same state where we are sliding, but additionally, we're going to be holding an item. And the item that we will be holding, and you can do this with other items too, but we will be holding the bomb, which allows us to do this next glitch anywhere. And this is again why the bomb has slowly but surely become the most like overpowered tool for speedrunning movement. So this is going to get a little bit deeper now. You can use the round bomb for this or the square bomb. The round bomb accelerates faster and stays speedy in the air more consistently. The only downside is when you set up the glitch, the round bomb obviously rolls, which can actually be really annoying sometimes when there's a big slope. But here on the flat surface, we can use it. So after placing down the bomb, we need to hold out our shield and then tap the bow and then the A button. Now Link is holding the bow, like earlier for basically the bow lock, and the bomb at the same time. The next step is the only hard step about the glitch. You have to jump, press B, and then plus immediately after. Like this. You can see Link is about to put the bomb away, but he hasn't fully done it yet. If we now unequip the shield and press B again, Link is holding the bomb and the bow again. And if we now aim, you can basically see the bomb is like stuck on Link's hand, right? So we're smuggling the bomb right now. Now we are set up. We are bow locked and we are holding the bomb. So we are going to be in the state that we were in earlier, where Link slides on the ground, but additionally, we are holding a bomb, and this causes this to happen. So now we're basically sliding, but additionally, this bomb that Link is holding is pushing us. And by flicking my control stick from left to right very fast, I'm able to build up insane speed mid-air without even using the paraglider. So this might already be able to tell you how broken this is, because we're not using stamina right now. And this is why this is so broken. We obviously start the game with 1 ring of stamina, which means every time we do like a wind bomb or a bullet time bounce and use the paraglider, we are restricted by the use of stamina. But that's not the case with this glitch. We have basically now made it from the Great Plateau to Kakariko in 20-30 seconds without ever using stamina. And this is why this is extremely powerful for long distance movements and speedruns, because we usually don't have the time to get a stamina upgrade. If we had any upgrades, and this is actually funny, because when you play this game casually, people will tell you, oh, hearts are overrated, it's kind of whatever. If you get like 1 shot, you get 1 shot anyway, get stamina. But it's completely the opposite in speedrunning, because having an extra heart means being able to do an extra wind bomb. Or being able to save time having to get food. Or being able to save time cooking food. So getting hearts is the actual time save in speedrunning. And I'm going to be getting one here in Kakariko.
Okay, great.
There's going to be a... Yeah.
So it seems like with this, it's BLSS, it seems like you cannot build height with it necessarily.
Yes, and that's the biggest downside. If we at one day figure out how to also get height with this, we have the ultimate glitch.
Yes!
But that's the only restriction right now, that we can't build height, so we have to start high if we want to go very far.
Right. Do you slowly lose height, or are you just staying at the same?
It's exactly consistent, yeah.
Okay.
You're not losing or gaining any height. There's some niche ways to get some extra height. You can like slide up a slope and keep the slide going, but it can also end. It's not great. Like, height is the only issue with this.
Okay. So it's not always a good idea to try to go up a slope with it.
Yeah, like, again, you can, but it's like... You don't want to. It's usually like a backup strat. It's safer to start the slide from a higher origin point than pokering if the slope is actually gonna let you slide along, because sometimes Link will instead just stop.
Okay, gotcha.
I haven't explained this yet, even though it's an absolute staple of speedrunning, and I almost consider this a casual strat, but
I didn't even think about it either.
If you whistle, and then spam the B button, you can keep up sprinting speed while regaining stamina. So I have to claw grip for this because I have to hold down the D-pad while moving the control stick up. So I use my like index finger for the stick. And then I mash B, and sprinting normally is still slightly faster. So in speedruns we go from whistle sprinting to get our stamina back to normal sprinting, and when the stamina is depleted again, we go back to whistle sprinting, back and forth.
Right.
In modern speedruns, there's not that much running left, but you will still occasionally do it. So we're going to Impa here. This is because I want to get the camera. And you don't get the camera from Impa, but if you don't go to Impa to get the quest to get the camera, you cannot get the camera.
Oh, interesting.
So we have to meet Impa. This game is very open, but there's still some amount of sequencing you have to do. For example, you have to come to Impa if you want to unlock memories or get the camera rune.
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess I never considered that because it's not something that I usually do it in order, pretty much.
Exactly.
Okay.
So if you actually were to just go to Hateno now and try to get the camera, in order to get the camera, you have to light this little blue fire at the tech lab. And the blue fire source is there, but the little flame that you have to light at the campfire is just not there. So you can't even light it.
So there's no actual fire to view.
Like not a fire is there, but the fireplace that you have to light up at the tech lab is just not there. So you can't progress the quest unless you come here, and you also have to talk to Impa again to have her explain to you what happened 100 years ago. And that's when she gives you the quest for the divine beasts, and she gives you the quest for the camera.
Okay, and then so how is that going to help us?
It's gonna help us for 2 glitches. One is gonna be another one that I think everybody can try out at home, even if you don't speedrun this game. It's one of the coolest glitches, in my opinion, to do. And not because it looks super flashy, but because you'll be able to play the game in a way that you usually can't. I won't give away too much yet.
Are you telling me to go get my Switch while you're doing this?
If you want to, I think it's doable. But for now, I'm gonna try to go for something which, in the past, I've either gotten first try or has taken me way too long. We see what happens today. And I'm actually not really gonna explain anything about it first. And I try to just get it and let it just show.
Okay. So you did the wind bomb to get up there, and that was just to have fast travel.
To activate the shrine, yeah, right.
Okay.
Okay, so it didn't work here yet. I always get 2 tries. Oh, that did not work. I did not intentionally sacrifice this chicken. That is cuckoo. Maybe I get one more try. There we go. So by timing our bullet time input, we are still in the state of flying with a cuckoo, but the cuckoo has left us. So we are basically just, floating.
That's so cool.
So in order to do this, you basically have to just time the bullet time activation, and you can already tell bullet time is pretty broken in this game. At the peak of your jump with the cuckoo, it looks kind of cool. It's like kind of Link in space.
That was awesome. Okay, so it's just going into bullet time with the right timing with it?
Exactly. You just jump with the cuckoo off a cliff or anything you can get bullet time off of, because you can only go into this bullet time mode with the bow when you are mid-air. Or at least your feet are high enough away from the ground. Like, I can't just do it while standing, or even for small jumps like this or whatever. It's just a small height difference. I wouldn't be able, or just off of a jump, you can't do it. You have to actually jump quite high like this to actually get into bullet time. So if you can do that with the cuckoo, and you time the bullet time at the peak of the jump, Link lets go of the cuckoo, but he stays in the floating state. It looks funny.
Right, I like that. That's great.
So we'll stop quickly at this fairy fountain. Not for a glitch, but if we want to move around quickly, we're going to be, like I already explained, wasting some hearts. And one of the most efficient early game foods, even though it's not food, is actually going to be fairies, because they will just heal us to full if we were like otherwise. If we otherwise would die, a fairy will just
What is
get us
that
back to full
movement that
life.
you're doing?
Oh, I'm crouching and I'm just pressing X, which is like a little hop. This way I'm still stealthy, but I'm still moving faster. So by jumping while crouched, you do these little crouch hops.
Oh, I never do that. Oh, that's really cool. Okay. I had another question and now I've forgotten. So go ahead.
Oh, you don't have a question on?
I did, but I have forgotten it already.
Oh, okay, it's fine, we will be landing up here. And maybe you can already tell why, because we talked about this. If we want to slide, we want to start from a high point.
Correct.
And we're going to be sliding again. This time I'm going to use the square bomb, just because the round bomb might get annoying here. It might roll away. And again, the only downside with the square bomb is that it doesn't accelerate just as fast, but it still works. The steering with this trick can be a little bit annoying, because if you ever hit the neutral zone of the stick when you do this, then you actually fall down. So you have to constantly be flicking from left to right. So if your left stick ever hits neutral, Link will just fall down.
Like if you let go of it, basically?
If you let go of it, exactly, yeah. Or even if you unintentionally hover in the middle of the stick too much, so you basically constantly have to move. And it will definitely destroy some sticks over time.
Oh, okay. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
But over time, in this time, while we talked, we already made it from Kakariko to Ateno. Which again shows why this is a pretty good trick.
I love that. Oh, so somebody in chat asked what is happening. Yeah, it's the BLSS, which... can you tell me what that means again?
It's the bow lift smuggle slide. Because
bow lift smuggle slide, but he's calling
bow
it
lift
slide.
smuggle is the first glitch that I talked about, where you slide on the ground and you use the bomb additionally to slide. I can actually, because I'll do that later. I've done it with the bomb so far, but it also works with other items like these little pots that we saw on the ground, or even small rocks. It's like any item you can hold can give you speed to slide around.
Awesome. Okay.
So I just grabbed the mob. And that's because I need an item that I can light up. Because I already said we are gonna be getting the camera, and in order to get the camera, we need to light up the fire. But casually, this is a little annoying, because obviously the fire is here, and the tech lab is all the way over there. And if you are using a torch, or if you're holding a torch, you move very slowly.
Right.
But we are already smuggling bows around. Basically, like holding bows, even though we shouldn't. We'll do the same thing now with a weapon. So if we place a bomb on the ground, and then hold out a weapon in front of the bomb, if we pick up the bomb and instantly pause the game afterwards, and then again, seems to be a reoccurring thing, unequip our shield, Link picks up the bomb, but he's also still holding the mob. Looks a little strange already.
Yes.
But if we're about to throw the bomb, it looks even stranger. The mob kind of leaves our body, and now it's stuck to our hand. So the way we're already walking looks strange.
Oh, wow.
But what this allows us to do is we can light the mob on fire just by like walking around. And then we can do other things while still holding the mob. So one way this is really useful is by doing a wind bomb.
Right.
So we can wind bomb with the mob in hand. It's just kind of stuck to us. So this is a lot more efficient way to bring the fire up to this tech lab instead of slowly walking up there.
Right. You're gonna use that, do that a few times.
Yep, we do another one here and then we're there. Instead of like lighting up all of the torches. And this is this thing would not be here had we not talked to Impa. They would just not be there. And now it is, so we can activate this as a war point, and we can actually get the camera.
Perfect. That's amazing. So, how? I'm trying to think of the, like, basically attaching the mop to your hand. Is that? My question surrounding that is, like, with the pot lid, with all of these things, with shields, like, do you know what's going on in the game to like, why removing
I
shields?
think it's just basically interrupting an action. So usually the game would automatically remove the weapon where if you
Okay,
pick up the bomb, but by unequipping the shield, that action just gets like stopped. So he doesn't actually let go of the weapon. That's why it's like stuck in his hands. Again, automatically, like if you pick up it doesn't have to be the potlet. It just has to be a shield in this case.
right,
That you unequip. That action unequips stops the other action from happening, which is if you pick up a bomb.
gotcha.
Usually Link unequips his weapon, but by inputting that shield unequip, that action gets interrupted and the
Right.
weapon gets stuck on his hands, and we can still use it as like a fire carrier, essentially.
Right, right. I remembered my other question. It's not. I wouldn't say it's necessarily run related, but what is talking to Impa the trigger for the DLC items? Because I saw them all pop up after that, and I just don't remember.
It is not for the DLC items. The DLC items, I mean, actually, maybe it is. Another thing that you can do is just reload the game. It's just that the DLC quests show up, but they already exist anyway.
Right.
What Impa is a trigger of, that a lot of people don't know, is the dragons. If you don't talk to Impa, Nadra will not be there, and no other dragon will ever spawn. So if you never
Oh,
talk to Impa, the dragons never show up, and this is also important for some speedruns, which is why we go to Impa just so the dragons spawn.
interesting. Okay, gotcha.
But
So you
yeah, I
can
will
go all the way up
come.
the mountain, and there's just nothing there.
Yep, there will
Okay.
just be nothing there. And if you try to meet some of the other dragons, they will never spawn. Like Farosh, who's the guy that flies around Lake Hylia all the time, will just not be there. And yeah, the DLC quests, they either happen after the first reload or first death, and maybe also after getting the Divine Beast quest from Impa. But the chests are in the game the entire time. There's no specific flag for those.
Okay.
I won't be doing too much DLC content. I will show one specific thing about it later when we get to Master Koga.
Oh, fun. Okay.
But yeah, the DLC is usually locked behind a lot of game completion. The big DLC content, the story content, only unlocks after beating all Divine Beasts, and that would be a bit too much for today.
Right.
So, do I even have any money here? No. Okay, so I will have to come back here later.
Okay.
I'm still planning to get some money eventually, but so far we didn't need it.
Right. We just didn't even. Just wasn't even on the.
But what I will get is quickly this shrine. That will be needed for later.
Right.
But yeah, for now, we're gonna go back to the Great Plateau, because now that we have the camera and that we have progressed the game a little bit, we will make our way to Gerudo Town. So we'll dive into some of the main story quests a little bit, at least, because there's some cool skips and some cool tricks related to that part.
Awesome.
In that area, which is gonna be the Gerudo main quest. So obviously there's basically like 4 big main quests, like the 4 Divine Beasts. We won't even do any Divine Beasts, but we will start the Divine Beast quest in Gerudo up to the point of fighting Master Koga, because there's some cool stuff about the Yiga hideout.
Yeah.
But first we have to get there.
I was gonna ask about the Divine Beast and Ganon. I assume we're just. That's not the point of today.
We will do Ganon at the very end, because there's another cool thing we can do in the Dark Beast fight, which I've actually recently done for the first time. It breaks the game in very funny ways.
Oh, good. Okay.
So we will get there, but you can get there without beating the Divine Beast. This just means that we'll have to beat all of the Blights once we get there. So we still, while we are casually flying around, we still have to get a little stronger. A lot of that will happen though when I do go to Hyrule Castle later, because Hyrule Castle just has such good equipment.
Right.
And then I already talked about the fact that there's a way now where you can basically build your own strong weapon and even duplicate weapons. I will show that off too, and that will be what I'll use to actually beat the boss fights later.
Awesome. So with BLSS, or I guess you said you like fighting. How? I mean, it seems like maybe it's just you're at a point where you're practiced enough with it, but how hard is it to get consistent with that?
I think just getting into the state where you're sliding And maybe when I do it again later, we can talk this through it step by step again with the inputs, so maybe some people can follow along. Just sliding slowly in any direction is pretty easy. The only hard part about that is the timing with that one input.
Right.
And I talked about where you have to jump and then press B and plus almost at the same time. That's the only hard part. But what is actually hard is building speed fast and consistently and not falling down and also steering them correctly. This took me... I wouldn't even consider myself great at them because the categories that I've run haven't really focused on like very precise slides. Also, I just picked up a diamond. That was not a glitch. There's always a diamond under this rock. Literally, after every blood moon, it respawns. It's pretty useful. And then, additionally, there should be a chest here on the right.
We will never get it once in this version because there will never be a blood moon.
True, it will never respawn. That's a good point. There will never be a blood moon because I never started a time. The only way there can be a blood moon is by something called a panic blood moon. It's not a real blood moon. The game will just play the blood moon animation if its like storage gets overloaded. It's very rare, and it's probably not going to happen today. But this diamond will not be back.
Loading large chunks of the map in such a short amount of time, it's just like, we can handle it. Or...
Yeah, but that is also the reason it can happen. Like, usually it's fine, but the only reason it happens, it doesn't usually happen casually. But if you move around this much, and it's actually more likely to happen if you do a lot of walking, because by flying around, some chunks just never even load in the first place because we just skip them. But if you walk around everywhere, it is actually more likely to happen.
Gotcha. And I feel like they're more likely to occur the more enemies that you destroy, right?
That is another, exactly. Because that's all like things that the game has to remember, like opening chests, etc.
Right.
But we will probably not see a blood moon today.
Right.
So I got a chest there with a forest dweller bow. This is a 3-shot bow. And that's important for later when we want to get our equipment that I talked about. We will need specifically triple shot bows or double shot bows in order to do this. We are not there yet, but I'm already explaining why I got that chest. The other reason I'm coming here is because not only am I slowly moving closer to Gerudo Town, but I'm also hitting up Mount Satori, the most broken spot in the game to get equipment and gear. And in this case, food. Exactly. Durians, extremely powerful. Not only do they give 3 hearts from base, but when you cook them, they completely refill your hearts and give you extra hearts.
12 or 14 or something ridiculous.
Exactly, and one durian alone gives you 4 yellow hearts, so we will be able to get like 40, 50 hearts from those durians, so a lot of wind bombs.
Right.
I'm also stopping by to get some Endura carrots. That will be important for something else later. Those, when cooked, will not only give you a little bit of extra stamina in form of like a little yellow ring, but they will also refill your base stamina. So if I'm like mid-air and I can't get my stamina back, eating that dish will completely refill it. But I'm also getting the shrine quickly, as again a war point.
I have a quick question. So there's still like wind bombs, obviously, and I know BLSS is newer, but like what causes you to want to use one over the other in this run?
So good question. In those movements that I just did, right? Like chest to durian. Oh, see, Farosh is there now. He wouldn't be here if we didn't talk to Impa.
Oh yeah. Hi.
So he can spawn at any time, which is also interesting. We never start the time of day, but he can. We just have to talk to Impa. If we have to go far, like here, I'm gonna almost go all the way to Gerudo Town here. Not Gerudo Town, but at least Gerudo Canyon over there. We want to BLSS because it's super far. It would cost us too much stamina to make it there, or we would have to do like 4 or 5 wind bombs, so a lot of health, right? But if you want to go a medium distance, and specifically if you also need height, like I did earlier, we talked about this, right? Then the wind bomb still prevails. And also inside shrines, because usually inside shrines you always need height, is still wind bombs are still better. But long distance travel like this, you just slide now.
Okay. And somebody was also asking if, like, are there no notable glitches that you do inside Divine Beast right now, or they're just not really something that are worth mentioning?
Inside what?
The Divine Beast?
Yeah, the funny thing is, Divine Beasts are almost glitchless. They are cool in the speedrun, but they are the only glitch that I can think of right now is another one of those shield clips in Naboris. The rest is just abusing the fact that the developers allow us to use Rivali's Gale. So
Yes.
usually in every Divine Beast, run, you do Barmedo first, the Divine Beast in Rito Village. You get Rivali's Gale, and you can just use it, or Wind Bombs both actually, kind of, to just skip it. So you just use movement to go from one terminal to another quickly, not really glitches. There's basically no glitch, honestly. Like, there's a wall clip, there's one like specific arrow shot in Rodania, but it's basically just movement.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I use them. I definitely do Vomito first now anytime I play this because of that.
So we made it into the Gerudo Canyon. I'm gonna get some fire arrows from this chest. And then a very powerful shield from another chest, a little bit lower. My portal is almost breaking, but that is no longer gonna be a problem. I am losing health here, but I obviously have those Durians.
Right.
This chest contains the Radiant Shield. And the Radiant Shield, we will actually get 2 of them, is the best shield in the game, in my opinion.
Okay.
Especially for speedrunning, because the Radiant Shield is the slickest shield in the game. And not because it looks cool, but because there is actually a friction stat in the game for shields. So some shields are more slick than others. I can actually explain what happened in this wind bomb later, because I will go over this. This is something called a dead angle. I talk about this in my wind bomb guide, which I made a long time ago, which I'm very proud of because it's one of the most watched. I hear that I taught this trick to a lot of people. It's pretty cool going forward. But yeah, some angles with wind bombs just don't work because Link gets hit from at a weird part of the bomb. I explain it later and showing it off. But so there's friction in the game. Some shields are more slick than others. That's what I said. And the Radiant Shield is the most slick. And what all this means is it's better for shield surfing. So a potlet is really bad. It is almost one of the worst. It has almost one of the worst friction stats in the game. So when I shield surf with it on snow, it's actually okay because snow is a nice surface. But on any other surface, it's bad. So the Radiant Shield is super slick. It can even shield surf on stone or on shrines.
Oh, wow.
And this will be very useful for some other glitches later. So I might not even be able to show it off anymore because I think this portal is just gonna break here. Now you can see, right? Basically not surfing at all. But with the Radiant Shield, even on the stone, I'm pretty fast. It's actually faster than running because it's so slick. And I'm gonna use that for a glitch coming up.
Okay.
In a bit.
I did not realize that it had that kind of slickness rating. I mean, it makes sense. It absolutely makes sense.
Exactly.
Cool.
So, what I'm about to do, I don't think is really a glitch, but we intended to use this little, or actually big boulder up there out of metal to push these rocks away. A sledgehammer will do the job just fine, though. It looks a little unnatural, but it still allows us to push this big boulder away and access this hidden stash. The stash is actually pretty powerful. Not only did we get another Radiant Shield, I just threw the spear away. It looks cool, but it's unfortunately pretty weak. We need our item spaces for better stuff.
Okay, and you don't want that bow.
There's 300 rupees in here and some bone arrows, which is nice.
And the bow's not worth getting?
No, the bow is not worth getting because we need our bow spaces for multi-shot bows for the glitch later. And there's gonna be a bunch of them in the Yiga hideout. The preferred weapon of the Yiga soldiers is the duplex bow.
Right.
Which happens to be a multi-shot bow. This rock is usually a little annoying because it slightly moves. So if you actually, I haven't even talked about this yet, but to get a slide like this going, you have to walk over some sort of ledge. You can't just walk off the ground. You have to, Link has to be an animation of getting up a ledge or a little object. So
do a step up, basically.
A step up, that's exactly right.
Yeah,
he has to do a step up. Also, I'm gonna fall down here. Because if you ever pause during this glitch, no matter what you hold, you will fall down. Had I not paused here, I thought I would have died, I wouldn't actually have died because I forgot the fact that I have fairies in my inventory, but I wanted to be safe anyway. It's okay. We are almost at Gerudo Town. But if you ever pause the game when you do this glitch, even with the quick menu, you will immediately fall down. I just saw that I was about to run out of hearts, and it was cold. I don't have cold protection gear right now. So I thought I was gonna die, but I forgot the fact that I was actually careful and picked up some fairies.
Right. So it would have been fine technically.
It would have been fine, but I was overly careful. So here you can see, because I failed this wind bomb again, how good this shield is. Like, I'm not really doing much, but I'm still moving so quickly through the desert. If I'm jumping here, even going uphill, I'm basically keeping my speed. So this is like much faster than running around the desert. This is also, because I just failed this wind bomb, a good time to explain why wind bombs fail. And if I do these wind bombs usually, and this is also the best way to do them, I use the round bomb first and the square bomb second. This is because getting hit by the square bomb gives you more height and speed, which is obviously what you want in a speed run.
Okay.
But the square bomb has a very interesting niche effect, which is when the square bomb spawns, when you let it drop by being in the air, the sides of the square bomb will always face cardinal directions. So you can see, and this is not random, how one of the sides is facing north, one of the sides is facing east, one of them is facing south, and so on. No matter how I jump, the sides will always be facing north, west, south, east. No matter how I jump. The square bomb will always spawn facing cardinal directions. And this is why some angles on wind bombs don't work. If I, for example, aim like this way, maybe it will work. Let's see. I would say probably not.
Okay.
See? I just failed. And this is because I didn't aim in a cardinal direction. So when you do wind bombs, you either want to aim exactly cardinal or ordinal. The angles in between, and I'm looking at the map here, this is why I'm currently throwing my weapon. This allows me to kind of readjust where Link is looking on the map. The safest thing to do is aim cardinal directions. Here, I'm aiming exactly east. This way, I'm going to get hit by this flat side of this bomb. You can kind of see how this is lining up right now.
Yes.
That way, it works all the time. But if you aim a little bit off one of those angles, and we call in speedrunning, we call this dead angles, sometimes it will fail. And this is why, if a wind bomb has failed so far, that's usually the reason.
Interesting. Okay.
It can still be timing, but this is a very common mistake. So I'm talking to Benja here. This is another instance of sequencing in the game. If you don't talk to Benja, the person at Karakara Bazaar doesn't spawn that sells you the outfit. If you don't get the outfit, you can't enter Gerudo Town. If you can't enter Gerudo Town, you can't start the quest.
Correct. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, no, this is why I'm not talking that much. Just because I'm the host doesn't mean I have a lot to say, since this is the stage of all the people who know the glitches. So in this instance, Wimpube is doing a fantastic job, and I am just an avid listener of you all. But I'm still paying attention to chat in case there are any questions.
I think you're doing a good job at that too.
I'm just hanging out, really.
But I currently have not enough money to buy the outfit. It's gonna be 600 rupees, and as soon as I make it here, there's also gonna be a cutscene. This is basically the cutscene of the game, like introducing the divine beast. But sorry, what was that?
So you able to sell the diamond, or do you want to keep it?
Exactly. No, that's what I will do.
Okay.
And I'm also gonna buy exactly one shock arrow.
Okay.
And that will be again important for the glitch later with duplicating items or weapons specifically. But there is actually a shop here. It's one of the most underwhelming shops in the game, because they literally sell exactly one of each arrow. I guess nice. In our case, perfect, because we only need one shock arrow, but that's the most you'll get here.
I never thought about shopping here, I guess.
Yeah, true. It's definitely not a very popular shop. But you have to... I have to first sell the diamond. Now I have 800 rupees. I'll be able to afford that one shock arrow. I'll be able to afford the outfit. Before I get the outfit, though, I will cook some food. And I will cook those durians in singles.
And the carrots, yeah.
this is the most efficient way because this way every durian can give us 7 hearts by refilling 3 of our hearts because I will usually eat when I'm on 1 HP.
Yes, they're so helpful. And if you cook like all 5 of them, you get at least 20.
Yeah, otherwise every other additional durian would only add 4 yellow hearts because it wouldn't give us that extra full refill thing. So you would say it's like faster to cook them in a big batch, and then you have a ton of yellow hearts, but you would miss out on hearts overall. So the most effective way is still singles.
If you did 4 instead of 5, would it still only be 3 per?
If I did 4 instead of 5, it would give me 16 yellow hearts, but only still 1 full recovery. But full recovery is the broken part about them.
I see what you mean.
Like actually refilling the red hearts. Like each of them is going to refill our red hearts, while if we cooked all of them, we would only get 1 red heart refill and then a bunch of yellow hearts.
Right.
But we still get the same amount of yellow hearts this way, but more full recovery normally, like of the normal red hearts.
Silly. I got there in the end.
It's honestly confusing. Like I also thought about. I mean, it's actually also close because obviously, while we get more hearts this way, we lose more time cooking the dishes, right?
Right.
So it's still pretty close.
There they are.
We're gonna get we're gonna get a nice outfit here. Definitely one of my favorites. And it's actually funny. There's actually one way now to skip this outfit. But that's actually, the game works pretty well there. It will not let you into the city without this outfit, usually. There's like one way you can like break it for a little bit, but even then the game will catch up. Like, yes, this game is broken, but some things work like surprisingly well.
Huh.
And the Gerudo town being a good example of that. But again, the entire reason I came here is because I wanted to start the quest. So I'm going back now. Going back to the city. We could have technically warped to the shrine here, but it is actually faster to just wind bomb. Warping is not slow, but it is slower than a wind bomb. I think a warp takes around 28 seconds or something.
Right.
So if you wind bomb instead.
I assume you want to save your shield durability, and then also, yeah, doing the wind bomb gives you that boost of speed, which would be definitely faster running.
Exactly. Oh, actually, using the shield on the sand does not use durability.
Oh, okay.
Also, as well.
It could be sand and snow, right?
Sand, snow, and the one thing that people usually don't know is paths. So actual paths in the game, if you surf on them, you don't lose durability. Like the actual streets and paths where people like ride and walk do not lose your shield durability. So I did one thing there without even talking about it, which was I did a wind bomb in the air without ever landing. It's just another way of doing a wind bomb. Something that's really hard to explain. I covered personally in my wind bomb guides, but it makes the trick even more versatile. Obviously, you never even have to land. You can just like wind bomb in the air. It's really good.
Could you theoretically do that infinitely if you just had
yes, health? And some runs use that to their advantage. As long as you have stamina and hearts, you can technically do it infinitely.
That's cool.
So
that's really cool.
We have made it to Riju.
I love Riju. She's so cute.
She's great. And I mean, in general, when I get asked, this is my favorite area of the game. I think it has, like, yes, Zora's Domain has some like strong story content of the Mipha story and everything, but I think Urbosa is just an amazing character.
I love
Urbosa. And the music in general, this has the strongest music. Like, if you really think about it, like, this area has the Molduga soundtrack, which is a fan favorite. It has the Attack on Vana Boris, which is a huge bop. The Gerudo City Night is basically like Breath of the Wild lo-fi. The memory music, if you type in Urbosa's Hand, if you don't get emotional when listening to Urbosa's Hand, I think you haven't played the game. But it's just a great area.
I'd say
which is not only the reason I came here, but yeah.
The one song that really spurs my emotions, I mean, just in general, is just, I mean, in Rito Village, just because, you know, it's got the
It's very comfy, very homey as well, yeah.
You do the whole, like, all the tasks, side quests, and you have the kids, and they're all playing the...
Oh, true, that's cute, that's cute.
And they're singing with them. Oh, it's so cute. So besides that, yes, this whole area is, like, super strong with music, for sure.
I agree. So I just bought 10 fire arrows, and this is just the fastest way to get them.
Right.
Exactly. I have 15 now, which is nice, but I needed at least 7, and I wasn't really able to get them yet, so I'll have to walk back to the shrine I went to earlier, which seems a little bit inefficient now, and there was probably a slightly faster way to route this in. I didn't spend like days or to come up with this route, but this is what we're going to be doing now. We're going to be sliding back to the area where I got the Radiant Shield earlier. This happens to be the area where the Yiga hideout is.
Right.
And again, the entire reason we did this is basically the Yiga hideout. And one of the coolest skips that you can do casually once you learn shield clipping, and it's honestly huge, specifically if you were like me, and you didn't particularly enjoy the stealth mission in the Yiga hideout. I definitely didn't. Maybe some people did. Stealth gameplay enjoyers. I'm not a big one, but that's what I really want to show. And again, I'm just going to quickly talk about the sequencing of it all. You could see there, I was walking against that little step, right? And that's what allowed me to start the slide. I couldn't just walk off the shrine or anything. Right, I walked intentionally against that step, so Link would step up, starting the slide.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I enjoy puzzles, but sometimes stealth, I'm just like, it's too slow.
Right, and I think the Yiga hideout in particular was a bit annoying in that regard. Like, it depends on how the stealth is designed, but for the Yiga hideout, I don't know, I think it's a bit frustrating because the Yigas walk like very slow, and the only mechanics, I mean, there's actually, once you get to know the game better, there's cool mechanics that you can use there, but I think the average casual player just doesn't get to know those. I think overall it's not one of the strongest parts of the game, but it's fine. We will be skipping it, and I will show how. But at first, I'm going to go for a big glitch, but in order to do that glitch, I have to get another shrine, and I couldn't get the shrine earlier because I didn't have enough fire arrows. I'm trying to still catch up with the sequencing of it all. So we made it to Gerudo City to start the quest. Had we not started the quest, we wouldn't be able to activate the Master Koga fight by any means. He would just never spawn because the trigger for the flag is not set. You have to actually start the quest. One thing I will do to spare everyone's sanity is I will, even though this will lose time, turn off the shrine sensor, because otherwise it will constantly bleep in our ears. Because it will always play when there's a shrine nearby. And this is a shrine. Right now it's just a big ice cube. And 7 fires, like I said, 7, the magic number, unfreezes the shrine, and it allows us to enter. And an additional thing I want to do here is I want to break these rocks. They should contain luminous stones. They are worth 80 per stone.
Right.
Ouch. Which is actually kind of a lot of money, specifically because we have to wait anyway for the ice to melt. Being able to generate this amount of money, because we need a little bit more on the run, is nice. I unlocked the shrine now, and this is the Katakar shrine. And I wasn't sure how much I was going to explain about this trick, because it is very complicated.
Okay.
I'll keep it a little bit shorter. But what I'm going to do here is the SCW. And
okay, what does that mean?
Exactly. It means Shrine Coordinate Warp. And this was the holy grail specifically for all shrine speedrunning, where you have to actually beat all of the shrines. Again, some shrines are under the ground, and you cannot enter them. I will actually do this glitch while explaining, because it might take me a couple of attempts.
Sure.
First of all, I'm actually gonna switch the shield order, because that will mess me up. Okay, see, I failed it here, so I have some more time to explain. So a Shrine Coordinate Warp allows us to enter those shrines that are still under the ground. And sometimes in order to get these shrines underground, an easy example, and many people know this one, is the one around Kakariko. If you go around Kakariko, you see this pedestal, but there's no orb nearby. The orb is actually an Impasse house. And in order to get the orb, you have to do tons of quests. So it's hidden behind like a lot of quests. So naturally, it would be great if we could enter the shrine even though it's not there. This is what this glitch does. And I actually got it here. What I did is I jumped and then basically did this fall damage cancel mechanic I did earlier when I landed. This tricked the game into thinking I'm still grounded, kind of allowing me to go for a double jump. So I quickly activated the elevator, but then jumped away from it. So the game tried to make me enter that shrine back there, but it couldn't because I jumped away. So
Okay.
in the game's memory, in the back of its mind right now,
It thinks you're trying to enter a shrine.
it thinks I'm trying to enter a shrine, and it thinks I'm trying to enter the shrine that I just unlocked, the Ka shrine, the one encased in ice. The game still remembers this, but the game also remembers where I am now. Right now, I'm at the Yiga hideout.
Okay. So is
Right
it
here where I'm standing, there's a shrine, but it's still under the ground. This shrine usually unlocks way later into the game. It actually unlocks when you get here the second time. You steal an orb from the Yiga hideout and throw it into this hole, unlocking a DLC shrine.
Oh
Right?
yeah.
But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring a text box up. An easy way to bring a text box up is by activating the amiibo rune for the first time. The game is going to be like, hey, I'm the amiibo rune. You can use me. I'm not going to use it, but it brings up a text box. And this will make the game remember that I have actually tried to enter a shrine. But this time, I'm standing on the ground, so I can enter. But the only thing that the game does to decide what shrine Link is entering is it says, hey, I want to enter a shrine, but where am I? So it will ask the game, where am I? But I'm here. So instead of entering the shrine that I initially entered, it will enter the shrine that's under the ground.
Because you're closer to it now.
Exactly. I'm opening the text box, I'm pressing B, and the game kind of freaks out. Loads the shrine. And Kataka, we've seen it earlier, is the shrine where you have to bring an ice block all the way up to the monk, kind of dodging some flames along the way. But the shrine I'm entering now is this one. Key Hero Mo, the DLC shrine.
Yes.
And usually the shrine would not be enterable because it's literally under the ground. But the mechanics that I basically just explained are the reason that this is possible. And I could technically skip the shrine and finish begin the DLC now. Not quite. There's a lot more to this. In order to really access all of the DLC content early, you have to do this glitch 4 times on the Great Plateau, entering each of the DLC shrines on the Great Plateau early to truly begin the DLC, if you actually wanted to do like the final trial at the end. But this is basically how this trick works, and I at least wanted to show how you can enter shrines that are underground. I'm gonna leave the shrine now, it's also gonna look quite interesting, because finishing it will not really do anything for us.
Do you use this trick? So what does this trick use mostly in, like, maybe on
All shrines.
All shrines?
Because in all shrines, all you care about. So I basically just left nothing, right? I literally just walked out of thin air.
Yeah.
Because the shrine isn't here. But the most important use for this is all shrines, because there's some shrines that are, like I just said, big example, the one in Kakariko. So you do this glitch. You do it from this shrine, the one that I activated earlier, the small one that's like on the hill on Kakariko, next to Kakariko. And then you do it here, walk a little bit up here, and you enter the one that's still under the ground with the pedestal.
Right.
So we skip like all quests we have to do to usually enter. Saves like 7 minutes.
Right, because you have to, like, do the stealth thing, like you have to follow that guy and...
Now the biggest time save of this, and this is the most ridiculous one, is the Sand Seal race. So next to Gerudo Town, there is a Sand Seal race. You have to beat a specific time to win the prize and enter the shrine. The problem is the Sand Seal race does not happen until you've beaten the Divine Beast. So in all shrines in the past, we had to do all of this and beat an entire Divine Beast to do one shrine, and a slow one at that. Like, we had to actually do the race, win the race, and play like 30 minutes of content just for that one shrine. But being able to enter that shrine early from this one, that's freely accessible, saves like 20 minutes.
Wow, that's a lot. Yeah, that's awesome. So are we gonna fight Master Koga?
It gets a little bit more complicated than that, but that would be too much for now. Some SCWs, which is the trick I just used, are only possible if you like pause buffer your game mid-air, because all of the shrines have like different load radiuses, but it would literally be, I could talk about this for like 3 hours and it would still be hard to explain.
Okay.
But you've already noticed, do you have any questions still?
I did. Well, so I assume are we gonna activate the fight now since we've made it over here?
Yes.
Right, okay.
And as you can see, the fight doesn't start yet though. I'm here and the fight is not starting. But usually when you get here, the fight starts. And this is because we haven't actually played the Yiga Hideout yet.
Right, you have to like at least go in and out.
And that's the important part. That's also all you have to do.
Awesome.
The thing that triggers this fight is not playing the Yiga hideout, it's opening this door. That's what actually activates the fight. So we can skip the entire Yiga hideout by, again, getting skew on the wall here. Like for all of the wall clips. Shield jumping here, so Link clips into the hideout. We climb over this wall, and now we're in the Yiga hideout. We're gonna grab one of those duplex bows I talked about, which will be important for later, like I said, for the weapon glitch.
Oh, it only opens from the inside, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Might as well grab some extra stuff. This room is actually kind of useful.
Okay.
There's some gemstones around here.
Right.
That we can sell. And you can already see, technically I have access to the donor, but by doing this single clip, I skipped the entirety of the Yiga hideout, and I will prove this in a second.
That's awesome.
By opening the door. And now the fight starts. The cutscene is now active, and Master Koga will actually show up.
It's like, you need to go through my hideout first. I'm not coming out until you do. So good. Okay.
So there's some cutscenes here, and I will actually just leave Koga here in the overworld, hanging out. There's no very interesting fighting strats for Master Koga.
Sure.
And there's another big cutscene afterwards. But I would like to show off some other stuff instead, because all this would allow us to do is we would be able to enter the Divine Beast, which, again, there's no big glitches there. It's mainly movement stuff in there, and there's more interesting stuff around Hyrule Castle, around Korok Forest, that I want to get to. So as soon as the fight starts, what I'll do instead is I'll warp away.
Can you just warp out of this fight?
I'm actually not sure. I just assumed that you could, but which makes me think I did it earlier. Pretty sure you just can.
Well, we're about to find out.
Looks like you can.
That's awesome. I've never considered that because, you know, once you get here, you want to do the fight.
Yeah, I think he wouldn't like spin around at the bottom here, but the second you land in this area again, there's going to be like a quick transition cutscene, and the fight would like just continue.
Perfect. Well, I would say before we get into the next section, since we've completed the desert, we've seen the plateau, we've seen some other basics. This has been amazing so far, but I think it's time to just take a quick stretch break. Everybody can go ahead and try to digest all the information we've been learning so far. I'm already doing some more stuff. So yeah, we will be back in just a few minutes. Always good to get up, take breaks. Drink water, everyone. I haven't even been drinking water. I've been so distracted, or I mean in a good way, by listening to everything in here. It's been awesome. So please, do what you gotta do. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere once you finish the whatevers you might want to get up for. So, because I was gonna say don't go anywhere, but I just told you to if you need to get up. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. So far, we are gonna have tons more when we get back. And if you're watching on YouTube right now, feel free to join us over at twitch.tv/GamesDoneQuick to check out our live shows. While I'm saying this, obviously we are live. They start most nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. And while you're there, Hotfix is funded in part thanks to your subscriptions and bits. So please consider subscribing to help support future broadcasts. Yeah, so if you've missed out on any GDQ Hotfix shows, you can watch the archive of the past runs and shows over at the YouTube channel, which, you know, I kind of started in the opposite direction, but youtube.com/GamesDoneQuick. All of the content's really easy to find, and you can see other things like this. We've also had some other Zelda games on this show in the past, for example, and it's all amazing, and I'm having so much fun watching this. So yes, we will do some wonderful shout outs for Limcube at the end of the show, so you can find out where he is on all different platforms. And in the meantime, we'll be back in just a minute. So make sure you get some water too, Lim. You're doing awesome.
I will do that right now.
All right, awesome. We'll be back in just a moment. Hello, and welcome back to tonight's episode of Bombs Break Everything in This Game.
Very true.
I'm Kungfufruitcup once again, or you can just call me Fu. And again, I am joined by Limcube, who's been doing an amazing job showing us Breath of the Wild glitches if you have missed out on the first half of this game, I'm sure he'll take some time occasionally to re-explain one or two of the things that you'll see pretty consistently.
For
But
sure.
you can also go back and watch in the VOD or whenever this is posted on YouTube to see these glitch explanations from the beginning. So it's up to you, but I'm going to leave it back to Lim to take it away and tell us what's coming up next.
Yeah, I definitely want to go over the BLSS again. I'm actually going to do this as soon as I'm done with what I'm about to do here next to the Yiga hideout. Which throughout this entire run, I've been slowly collecting multi-shot bows. So far, we have 2, which is not going to be enough because we need 5. But 2 is the important number because when we land here, there is 3 Yiga's foot soldiers that spawn here. And all of them have a duplex bow. So by landing here, we get 1, 2, 3 duplex bows. Right now, I have a normal bow on me. I won't be able to carry that any longer. And now I have 5 multi-shot bows. So I am ready and good to go for my weapon duplication glitch. But right now, I don't have the best weapons yet, so I won't do that yet.
Okay.
I will also actually pick up these bananas. Which I'm going to use for an attack up elixir later. It's a good ingredient to make a potion that makes you stronger, deal more damage, which we need to do when we actually want to beat the boss fights.
But no rupees. Interesting.
Those rupees are okay. In speedruns, I usually dodge those because when you pick them up, you get an item box that's unskippable.
Oh, because it's the first time you've gotten one that size.
And same for the blue one. Like, depending on the color, there's always an item box. So that's why I have, like, the habit of dodging them. We won't really need them in the run too, but I guess that's why I do that. But I'm done with Gerudo Desert. I wanted to mainly I wanted to get some items here, like the bows that I need for the weapon duplication glitch, and I wanted to show off the Master Koga stuff, the Shrine Coordinate Warp. We're gonna go back to the Great Plateau Tower again, which is a great starting point for the bow lift smuggle slide. And this time we're going to be sliding to Hyrule Castle. And then we're going to get the Master Sword. And wait, what? The Master Sword? Isn't the Master Sword usually locked behind 13 hearts? How are you going to get the Master Sword?
Oh, yeah.
I will tell you once we're there. But
and you don't need 13 hearts.
I will not need 13 hearts. Yeah, that's the first spoiler. But so the castle is actually between me and the Korok Forest right now. So we'll quickly stop there to grab some good items and show a little bit of an interesting perspective of the castle. But this is going to be a step-by-step breakdown again on how to do the ball lift smuggle slide. Not necessarily a tutorial, but I will still explain the inputs. If anybody wants to watch this on YouTube again and maybe pick up what I'm doing here, you could try. But yeah, so essentially what you want to do, and I'm going to do this with the square bomb in this example, which it accelerates slower, but you at least don't have the hassle of like chasing it around because it's rolling all over the floor.
Right.
So you place down a bomb, and then you hold out your shield with the ZL button. The next input is pretty easy. You tap the ZR button, which is the right trigger, and then A immediately after. So it's like tap, tap, ZR, A. And I didn't do it right there because I guess I tried too much in explaining. Quicker taps. Quicker taps made it work. I tapped both buttons quicker. And now Link is holding the bomb and the bow. This next step is the only hard part. While still holding the left trigger the entire time, which I originally used to hold out the shield, I'm jumping. And as soon as I'm mid-air, I have to press B and then pause immediately after. You don't have to press jump B pause. All you need to focus on is that while you are mid-air at one point, you have to press B and pause super quick. Like this. You will be able to tell if it worked after you unequip your shield. If you unequip your shield and the bomb falls down like this, it didn't work. You did it too slow. Now I'm gonna try to do it, but actually get it. But it's good that I showed this off. If the bomb falls down, that means your B and plus input was too slow. If you do it fast enough, and this will work, you can already tell if you look behind the pause menu, Link is still holding the bomb. If I now unequip my shield, he goes back to the point where he's holding both the bow and the bomb. And the last step from here, you don't need to hold the ZL button anymore, is to aim with our bow. Just aim, and then press B. And now, if I am stepping up a ledge, and I will use this little step up around the tower, while holding B, I will be sliding. But again, if you're ever sliding with this glitch, you have to hold a direction on the control stick, and you have to keep holding B the entire time. If you let go of B or the left stick, you will fall. So as soon as I'm going up this ledge, I'm stepping up, I'm going to be holding forward and B the entire time, and I'm sliding. And this part, I think everybody can do after some practice. But you can tell already I'm losing speed. I'm not going anywhere. So the hard part about this glitch is then, while doing all of this, flicking your control stick from left to right quickly without ever hitting the neutral zone of the stick to build up speed.
And you have to do it facing the opposite direction you want to go because it's like the bomb is pushing you.
Yeah, exactly. You have to basically face, your back has to face where you want to go, which is Hyrule Castle now. If the flicking is a little bit too hard for you, a slower but consistent way is you can kind of circle around like this, do like little spins, and basically, after you're done with the spin, hold a specific direction.
Okay.
That way you are slowly building up speed, but it's a lot easier on your hands, and probably just easier to do mechanically.
Oh my god, that texture doesn't know what to do.
And
can Guardians ever... Can Guardians ever... I've forgotten the word that I'm looking for. Like, target you? That's the word.
Oh, they can. This guy's about to do it.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, even if you go inside this room, you could already see... This is essentially what happened earlier with the Magnesis Shrine, right?
Oh.
If you move too far, too fast, the game is not catching up. And the room wasn't even loaded in. The cutscene wasn't either for quite some time.
So it finally caught up.
It finally caught up. This load is usually not this long. The game still has some catching up to do.
Gotcha.
But now
so
the
you get the one in the chandelier?
The room has loaded. I will not. This is not a bad bow, but there's going to be a better bow. Now that you say that, though, I actually won't be able to get any bow right now. And this is because we don't have more space. We only have 5 space. Right. We need to hold onto all of the multi-shot bows to equip, to get our weapon. What I will get, though, right now is another banana and also a rush room. The rock salt, I guess, just for bonus points. A rush room. Now we have 5 ingredients that increase our attack power later for the boss fights to beat them faster. But the main reason I'm coming here is to get a weapon and also to show off a very interesting perspective of Hyrule Castle.
Okay.
So there is a weapon here. Royal Guard Sword, 48 damage, but unfortunately very low durability.
Yes.
Breaks after like 12 hits or something. I was just gonna come to this wall to show off another shield clip. I'm gonna save the game first. It's just another shield clip, but I think Hyrule Castle is the coolest location in the game to go out of bounds in, and you'll see why once I get there. I'm just gonna use this tiny little step to get this skew that I was using in other areas, right? I was jumping on like very steep slopes. Now I'm just using this tiny step to get the skew, and I will be able to clip out of bounds. The cool thing in Hyrule Castle is you can see everything. So you can see the mines that are underground. You can see all of the rooms, like there's like some hallways up there. You can even see there's the armory up there. You can even see the sanctum in like the way back. You can see Calamity Ganon already in his like cocoon all the way up there.
What's that? It's like an unloaded texture that was there. You just passed it?
It was probably water. There's a lot
above
of water.
You?
Like, yeah, there's a lot of water randomly above me.
Oh my god.
If we happen to hit that water, I don't know if I will. Sometimes the game really... it just happened. I am now swimming. There's like water all over the place here. I'm basically just swimming in the air.
Uh-oh.
Here it happened again, but this time I actually hit, oh my god, water that's a lot higher, so you could basically see Link fly around. I would actually not mind drowning, because if you drown, you land back in the last position where you touched the ground, which happened to be back in bounds. So that would actually get us back to where we started pretty efficiently.
Wow, Wow.
Oh, never
That was
mind. I
really
touched the
cool.
ground down here. Never mind. I thought I touched it when I
Oh,
saved.
I
I'll
gotta
have
go.
to. I'll have to reload then. But I just want to show this little view of all of the castle rooms from out of bounds. The entire, and I think this is actually common in video games. I don't know if it's common, but I've seen this more than once. The way water in this game works is the entire ground is water, and whenever water surfaces, they drag it from the bottom of the map up. So basically, the entire ground below the overworld is water, but whenever there's a lake, they pull the water from the ground all the way to the surface. So if you were to go like below Hyrule, everything would be water.
It would just be more water, yeah.
Right.
Interesting. Huh.
So the main weapon I came here for, I haven't gotten yet. I will go there now.
Is the
And this
sword
is
the 48 strength sword? Is that one you're going to be doing the durability glitch on?
no.
Okay.
But the one I will be using it on will also be a royal sword, but it will be the royal guard's claymore.
Okay, which is stronger.
It is going to be a bit risky doing a wind bomb from here because I'm probably going to get targeted.
You don't have a lot of time.
Don't have a lot of time, exactly. Usually the Guardians are pretty bad at hitting Link mid-air. Hopefully I didn't curse myself, but yeah, it worked out.
Yeah, I just drop a little height if I think they're going to be too accurate.
Yeah. So I'm going into this room, and this is where the Royal Guard's chamber is. This guy usually doesn't hit me, he just stays in place.
Gotcha.
This wall hasn't even loaded in yet. Oh, it just loaded in. And this shows how bad the game is at loading things.
Oh.
Like, I literally was walking. I was just running towards here, and it still didn't manage to load the wall in time.
That's awesome. Is there ever any reason to get the Hyrule, like the Hylian shield, aside from just doing 100%?
It has the highest durability in the game.
Right.
So getting that shield and then doing what I will be doing later, the durability glitch, you can apply the durability from the Hylian shield on other weapons. So you can make like a super durable radiant shield, which, like I said, is like one of the best weapons in the game.
Gotcha.
Because it's so slick. But this is the weapon I came here for. This is the highest base damage weapon I can relatively easily get right now at 72. And I'm also going to grab this weapon, because this weapon has much better durability. So this is higher damage, this is higher durability. And what I do with the glitch later is I'm going to apply the durability from this weapon to this weapon, and then duplicate the high durability version of the Royal Guard's Claymore. So I make a lot of really strong Claymores, which is going to make the boss fights a joke.
Oh, okay, I see. Is there, so you can't like increase durability past the other items you have.
Past the base weapon you use, right. And
okay.
If I had the time, the best weapon you can get without amiibo for base durability is the spring-loaded hammer, which is a little joke item you can get from Kilton, who's this guy that only shows up at night with a special stop.
Right.
A shop. He doesn't take rupees, he takes mon, which you get from turning in monster parts.
Yeah, wait, that hammer? How high is that durability?
That hammer has the highest base durability. I think it's 90. You can like hit 90 times with it. The only weapon with more is the amiibo exclusive Big Goron swords, and I think that has like 120 or 140. Somebody in chat probably knows better. But the base game weapon without amiibo, the spring-loaded hammer, I think has 90 durability, which is pretty nice.
Gotcha. Can you only apply like sword durability to sword durability and
no weapon to weapon? Yes. You can do bow to weapon, but you can do spear to sword or spear to claymore. Bows,
right?
Where melee weapons and shields are the three categories that have to stay within each other.
Okay.
But you can do spear to sword or hammer to spear.
Duplicate the claymore after you increase its durability. Can you duplicate the Hylian shield?
Yes, technically yes.
Oh.
You wouldn't want to do that though. Because the good thing about the Hylian, I mean, it's cool, right? The Hylian shield looks cool, it's a classic. But just for efficiency, you wouldn't want to duplicate the Hylian shield, because the only good thing about it is the durability. You would duplicate the good shield as in terms of like friction, like the radiant shield, but you would apply the durability of the Hylian shield to it. You can't apply something like friction to the Hylian shield.
Right.
The only thing you can transfer is durability.
You know what the rating is out of for like the slickness of the shield? Like what would the Hylian shield be? What would the Radiant shield
Bad.
be?
Like I don't know if there's like values. The
Okay.
only thing I noticed the difference between three different ones, and the tiers are like the worst ones are basically all shields. All
Yeah.
shields are bad, with
Like
the
wooden.
exception of the ancient shield and the shields of Mind's Eye. That's like a wooden Sheikah shield. Those ones
Oh.
are pretty slick. And the Radiant Shield is in a league of its own.
Okay. Interesting. Very interesting that that's the one. Okay.
It's the one they use in Garuda for the sand seal surfing, which is why I'm assuming they decided to make it like extra slick.
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah, that's a good point.
So I'm using a lot of wind bombs here because I need height. I'm gonna use the woodland tower, which is this tower here. I will actually get another part of the map later as a war point.
Okay.
Because it's pretty close to Death Mountain. I'm gonna need to go to Death Mountain for a little bit.
Keep in mind, earlier Limkey was explaining that whenever you do the wind bombs, because I know he hasn't touched up on it since we got back from break. I don't think you were just doing. Yeah, you just did the sliding. But with wind bombs, it's important to make sure that like when you're using that square bomb, that you are facing in like an actual cardinal direction, or else it won't be effective. Like it won't actually work.
Additionally, you can aim ordinal. Ordinal is also safe, and it is actually faster, but it gives less height.
Like on the corner?
Yeah, it's like exactly northwest, exactly southeast.
Gotcha.
But it will give more speed, less height. I wanted basically only height there, so I was always aiming cardinal for those wind bombs that I just
Yeah,
did.
I feel like at this point, wind bombs are more useful for height specifically because you have sliding. So like, would make sense that you want to stick with more of the cardinal directions.
Exactly.
Cool.
So
I'm learning.
really. That is exactly my decision making there. So this might be a little hard, and it might take me more than one attempt. We'll see how it goes. Because we are gonna enter Korok Forest. I promised you we're getting the Master Sword. But Korok Forest is a bit annoying to get into. If you went here casually, you would know that in this forest, there's like a lot of this fog trying to void you out. So what I did here is I made the game lag intentionally by pressing the menu, the D-pad quick menu. Every time you press the D-pad quick menu, you induce a little bit of lag to the game. A little bit of extra lag. I did that there intentionally to make sure that when I wind bomb and open my paraglider, I'm currently on a lag frame. It's going to be a bit confusing. I'm not going to go too in depth, but essentially when you do a launch like this on a lag frame, the game, in order to compensate for that lag, increases your launch speed by 150%. It like tries to catch you up with the lag and you go faster. This is called a super launch and makes wind bombs a little bit more useful. And that was an easy way to basically just zoom past that barrier of the forest.
Yeah, so basically you made yourself go so fast that it couldn't void you out by having the fog surround you before you can land, right?
Exactly. Genau.
Cool.
So, this is the Master Sword. Unfortunately, we can't get it because we have 4 hearts. But, and this is the big but. And I made a huge video about this year because getting the Master Sword is probably the most ridiculous history of glitches.
Yeah, I watched that video.
You watched the video, yeah. It's pretty crazy. So at first we thought we can only get it with 13 hearts, which if you pull this, there's this cutscene that plays, you can only get it with 13 hearts, right? And then later a glitch was found that actually allows you to duplicate hearts. So you no longer need to get 40 shrines or like divine beasts to get those hearts. You can duplicate hearts, it's faster. What you can do now is you can light a campfire.
Oh, right.
So what you do is you literally just place a piece of wood next to the Master Sword, and you make a campfire out of this piece of wood. So what happens here is, when you look up into the sky, when you sleep on a campfire, quickly when you wake up, your coordinates on the map desync for like the first couple of seconds. This also unloads the prompt around the Master Sword that would otherwise play the cutscene that checks for your heart count. Let's just sleep on the campfire here, wait until morning, and while I'm waking up, I'm just gonna constantly press A.
So it's pretending to go to morning, but it still hasn't done the time check, so it won't actually change the time.
Right. And we just got the Master Sword.
So do you spam A basically?
It's not. You don't have to spam that hard. I made a video about this, and people were spamming like crazy. As long as you tap it pretty quick, you're fine. You have like probably around like a second of time to grab the sword before the trigger reloads.
Okay.
But yeah, the funny thing is, like, if I'm grabbing the Master Sword now, the game still thinks it's there.
Oh. But you have it.
I have it, and I even got the extra item slot for it.
Do all the properties around it?
Oh wait, actually, I'm not sure if you get the extra item slot for it. Additionally, you can see main quest, the hero's sword. This quest never completes unless you actually pull it. And, I mean, I can try that. It looks weird, but and you can actually pull this invisible sword if you get to 13 hearts. I don't think I have the time to do that today.
That's okay.
What's funny is, while on this side, when you stand on this side, you get to pull the Master Sword. You can actually enter the Trail of the Sword, even now. You need to, and I'm actually gonna get this out of the way right now. As soon as when you get the Master Sword and you have the DLC installed, the first time you reload the overworld, the game introduces you to the Trail of the Sword, which is DLC exclusive content. It's probably the hardest content in the game, specifically in Master Mode. Honestly, a good challenge.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But,
yeah, doing it casually is hard enough.
For sure. And this actually makes one even more fun, or more like an even harder challenge. If you wanted to do this, you could technically do the Trail of the Sword with 3 hearts. Good luck, specifically in Master Mode. But yeah, this is, we have to get this cutscene out of the way. This is now, oh hey, yeah, you have the Master Sword. So the game acknowledges that we have it in our inventory, but we've never completed the quest for it, and we also will not do that today.
Is Zelda never going to try to talk to you because you didn't activate things for her, or does she? Like,
no, when she talks to us, that's usually related to the Vine Beast stuff, which we won't really do today, but whenever she's talking, that would still happen. That's not really related.
Okay. I was just like, I guess like we wouldn't hear her because we don't have blood moons either. I don't think
True, that's one that she talks there. She also talks when you beat 4 Divine Beasts. She's like, oh, I'm so proud of you. You beat all the Divine Beasts. She also talks to you if you get the final memory. We could still do all of that, but we won't because it takes
right. I was just thinking of all the time she might speak. Yep.
I'm gonna get this other cutscene out of the way while I quickly explain again about the sword a little bit more. So again, this sword, you can throw it. It has the same mechanics, like it will eventually run out of charge and eventually also recharge. What we're watching right now is the Trail of the Sword cutscene. It also powers up when you are next to metal. So it is the completely normal Master Sword, with the only change that I think you actually don't get the dedicated item slot. Usually you get an extra item slot that's just for the Master Sword. So if you do this glitch and you don't have inventory space, it won't work. That's important maybe to know. Because you only get the dedicated slot when you actually pull it. The Master Sword has a dedicated item slot spot in case if you didn't know that before. But you need an open slot if you want to do this glitch. It's very easy to do. There's tutorials on YouTube that take like 2 minutes. But you can see it here. So here it says pull. If I press A here, I would still try to pull the Master Sword. But if I go here...
Oh, that's so strange.
It says place. So here, I could actually enter the Trail of the Sword. I will not do that right now because I have 2 hearts. But it's still interesting to know.
Right.
Actually, maybe my game crashes here. This is a very common crash spot. Okay, I didn't. We talked earlier about, before the show, if there's a fast way to crash the game. The most common crash spot in the game is entering the beginning trials. It crashes like 20% of the time randomly. didn't this time.
Huh, that's so strange. Okay, yeah, I've never seen that actually.
I don't really know why it does it, but it's actually it happens surprisingly often.
Mhm.
Okay, we
Mhm.
have the Master Sword now. I wanted to now that we have basically moved around a lot, I wanted to go. We have a lot of the base equipment I needed. That's basically what this run was focused on so far. Showing off glitches while collecting some items I need, like the attack up items, the equipment, the multi-shot bows, the Master Sword. I have all of that now. So now I can focus much more on some smaller, interesting glitches. And we're going to start again on the Great Plateau and make our way slowly and surely, while showing off a ton of glitches, to the boss fights.
Ooh, okay, I'm excited.
The first thing that I'm going to show is a glitch that I would recommend people to try at home. Maybe not right now, but maybe if you re-watch the VOD, if you watch this on YouTube, you can rewind, you can take your time to learn this, and once you've seen it, you probably are going to want to learn this. And this is also the reason, mainly, one of the two reasons I got the camera. But Breath of the Wild looks nice, and the only way we get to usually see more of the game is by turning on Pro mode. So Pro mode disables the map on the bottom right, and all that's left is the heart count on the top left.
Right.
And we can take that one step further. And I'm gonna just go over the inputs, just like they are, and you'll see what happens. So we'll start this out by doing weapon smuggling again. We did this earlier in the run when we brought the blue flame to the Hateno tech lab. So we place a bomb on the ground, we take out our weapon, and then we're going to pick up the bomb and then instantly pause the game after. Unequip our shield. Now Link is holding the bomb and the sword. We can get rid of that bomb. Now we don't need it anymore. But Link is now smuggling the sword. He's like kind of randomly holding it. And the next step that we need to do is we need to re-equip our shield. I'm going to use the D-pad to re-equip my shield.
Mm-hmm.
Shield is back and it's equipped now. From here, I'm going to hold out the shield with the left trigger. And I'm not going to let go of this button until I'm done with the glitch. This button is going to be held the entire time. Constantly holding this button.
Okay.
The next step I'm going to do is I'm going to switch from the bomb rune to the camera rune. I have the camera rune now selected. And then the next step is I'm going to pause the game and hold an item. Any item. I'm going to hold the chili. If I now unpause, Link is holding the item and the sword. Looks a little strange. We're going to take this a step further by switching from one weapon to another. Now Link is holding the item, the sword, and the shield. He's getting a little busy at this point. And now the last step that I have to do is I have to press the rune button, so L, which is going to be the camera, and plus at the same time. If I now press B, I'm playing Breath of the Wild in first person. Which is something that otherwise you can't do. And it allows for some pretty cinematic shots that you otherwise can't see like this. So what's happening in the background here is I'm basically in the camera rune, but I also basically deleted the HUD of the camera rune, and it looks like a different game. It looks like VR Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And this is how like a lot of the like intro shots and like I don't know, animations, like combat montages for the game are done now. This is another advantage of the game being stuck at 5 in the morning, because we get to see like lighting like this.
Okay, but would you play this in actual VR? Because I know they have their little. I have the Switch kind of VR.
Right, like the toy cons or whatever they call it. I mean, if there was like a fully fleshed out VR version for this, I mean, damn, that would be amazing. This glitch doesn't go that far, unfortunately. So while you can't, when you can walk around, you can get some cool shots. As soon as you press like B or like you try to attack, this ends. This is just for like cinematic shots, and I think it does a good job at that. But you can't just straight up like fight and beat the game this way. But depending on where you are, you can get some really cool shots of the game that you can't get any other way.
Oh, so
This
cool.
is like perfect for like your like desktop background starting soon stream scene or something. It even adds like the letterbox. It's just too good.
That's true. Oh, that's really true. Yeah, especially since it's 5:15 all the time.
Yeah, it looks amazing. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think honestly, if you rewind that enough, what I just explained, and just follow my steps, you can do that too. It's not hard. Um, you just have to probably rewind the video a couple times and do the steps, but it's pretty nice.
Yeah. That's super cool. Ooh.
All right, that's first person Breath of the Wild. Well, now we will go and get ourselves some items, because we still are gonna have to beat the boss fights at the end. And I don't really have a quick way to set up a slide here, so I'm probably going to go for some wind bombs. I was trying to make the game lag there again, what I explained earlier, but it actually depends on what you have on your screen. If there's like a lot of like forest or a lot of very like intricate areas on the ground, it's a lot easier to get lag and speed up your launch.
Because there are
Sometimes
a lot more like
to
objects and things.
render, exactly. Which
Mhm.
is, it's actually funny, like technically this becomes more consistent when you use the VR mode you just talked about, because when you use the VR mode, the game gets rendered twice, once for the left and once for the right side, so you can make the game
Oh,
lag even more. It's not
interesting.
that big, but it's a little bit of a niche trick. All I wanted to go, where I wanted to go was the stable. So lag is very important in this game for multiple things, but menu overloading, which is the base glitch we are going to use to increase our inventory and duplicate weapons and so on and so forth, is much easier to do when the game is laggy, and the stable is a good spot to do this.
So funny. I just think of like N64, like especially a lot of games and speedruns. Even games that like aren't being speedrun were built with some of the lag in mind for mechanics to work, like DK64. Like you had to actually rely on the lag being there, which makes certain things almost impossible without it in like, the Wii U emulation and stuff. But
Exactly.
it's so funny that, you would think that that's really useful for like older consoles, but finding ways to create lag in,
It's really true.
companies are working to like so hard to remove it for better experiences for people. It's like still so useful for
I
speedrunners.
know.
Amazing.
And this is a great example of it. So I have those 5 multi-shot bows, and I bought that one shock arrow, because the only thing that's important that is that on my multi-shot bow, I have a shock arrow equipped. This is what matters. This allows us to add more lag, overload our menu more, which
Oh
is
yeah,
gonna
the
allow us.
one.
Yeah, it just has to be equipped. But like right now, it's like equipped, so it's like lying on the bow.
Mhm.
That's the important part. And so what I'm going to do is I am holding this Royal Guard's Claymore. So this is the weapon I have equipped, and then I'm holding out the bow with the shock arrow equipped. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop my bow and then equip another bow. And every time I'm unpausing the game here, I have to go quick. I'm going to have to unpause here, so I give the bow time to fall down, and then immediately pause again.
Okay.
I'm going to repeat this. So I'm going to drop this bow, equip this bow, unpause, pause. I'm going to drop this bow, equip this bow, unpause, pause.
Do
I'm
you
going to
want
drop
it
this bow,
do you want
equip
to
this bow.
should it have like a frame to land on the ground?
No, you want to spend as little time out of the menu as possible.
Okay. Okay.
And now Link looks weird. This is when you know you got it. If you look at the right, it's just a
Oh,
floating head. This is the important step. This tells us our menu is now overloaded. I'm gonna have to move a little bit to the right here, and then basically try to quickly pause the game again.
I'm sorry, I find that really funny.
We can see the head is still floating, which means our menu is still overloaded. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hold the Royal Claymore and then unpause and pause again. You can tell, even though it hovers the Royal Claymore, Link is still currently holding the Royal Guard's Claymore on his back, right? Can you see that in the back of the menu? It's like the black weapon instead of the silver one.
Oh
Like
yeah.
stuck out of his like head, basically. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because I'm going to attack. I'm going to jump attack right now. And what's going to happen is, because I'm jump attacking with the Royal Claymore, the game is going to subtract 1 durability, right? But it's going to check the base durability of the Royal Claymore, which is pretty high. But I technically still have the Royal Guards Claymore equipped. So while I would usually lose 1 durability, the game will instead set the durability of the Royal Guards Claymore to the Royal Claymore durability -1.
That's
I don't know
wild.
if that made sense. But basically by doing this, I now have a Royal Guards Claymore with the durability of the Royal Claymore. So I'm going to get rid of all of this now, reset it back to normal. Right now I'm holding Royal Guards Claymore, right? The black weapon. But when I press D-pad, it says Royal Claymore. So again, it kind of glitched out. This Claymore now has the durability of the Royal Claymore. We will see that later in the fight. It's gonna last long. So that was step 1. Now we have a good Royal Claymore with high durability. I'm gonna repeat this step, but now I'm gonna duplicate the Royal Guards Claymore. So again, we're overloading our menu. We are holding out the shock arrow on a multi-shot bow. Drop, equip, unpause, pause. Drop, equip, unpause, pause. Drop, equip, unpause, pause. Drop, equip, unpause, pause. Link looks funny. I walk to the side. I pause again. And now what I can do is I can equip a different weapon. For example, this X. It's equipped. I unpause and pause the game. Then I throw away this X. But the weapon that Link will throw away is not gonna be an X. It's another Royal Guards Claymore.
Okay.
So every time I equip a new weapon, I unpause and pause the game, throw away the weapon, unpause and pick it up. I'm picking up a Royal Guards Claymore. And one with broken durability. So I get this weapon now, unpause, pause, throw it away, pick it up. I get this weapon now, unpause, pause, throw it away, pick it up. And I get this weapon now, unpause, pause, throw it away, pick it up. Now I have 7 or like 6 Royal Guards Claymores with like 30 durability instead of 12. So I have like 10,000 of damage on me now.
Wow.
Compared to the damage that I had earlier. It's really powerful. It's the only problem is that in order to do this glitch, you have to get those multi-shot bows. So it's only really useful in very long runs. It also takes some time because it's not like there's no good equipment in the game.
Right.
But it's just that this is only useful. So there's some weapons that are incredibly useful to duplicate. What stands out is, you said it, getting the Hylian shield durability on a different weapon is massive. It allows you to, on a different shield, right? You can make an almost unbreakable, perfect shield surfing shield. That's a great thing. You can make, like what I just did, super powerful two-hand damage weapons. Those are great for all of the mini-boss fights because you can just spin to win. If you have like a lot of stamina. That's what you do. That's what you do in like 100%. You just spin to win.
Even with Divine Beasts, I feel like that would be really useful.
Even with Divine Beasts, even like everything you fight, two-hand weapons are really good because not only can you just spin to win, if you actually spin to win, but you face the back to the enemy, sometimes you hit twice per rotation. So you with this weapon, that's 140 damage per spin. It's a lot.
That's wild. Okay.
And another great weapon, that's actually probably the best to duplicate, is the reward you get for clearing Divine Beast Varmedo, the bird. You get the Great Eagle Bow. The Great Eagle Bow has amazing durability, amazing range, an amazing fire rate, so it shoots very quickly. It's the triple shot bow from Rito. So in 100% runs, you usually duplicate that bow a lot. It helps that it itself is a multi-shot bow. So at one point you can just constantly make like a Great Eagle Bow factory. You have only Great Eagle Bows, and whenever you run low, you use the Great Eagle Bows to make more Great Eagle Bows. It's pretty nice, pretty neat.
That's awesome. Also, I want to say that this is a really we're making really good time for our estimate, which is currently spin to win.
Spin to win, nice. We will get there. I want to make one quick stop before. I mean, maybe not that quick. It's still going to be a cool glitch. And this is kind of where I'm going to be bringing it back to where I talked about the snapshot. Breath of the Wild constantly evolves, and some glitches never really see. I mean, this one people have probably seen, but it never actually really made it into speedruns. I'm going to start by using Amiibo. And I'm going to use the Super Smash Bros. Amiibo, which spawns Epona. I just need a horse. This is like the fastest way to quickly get one. I will just register Epona here.
Do you just have, like, you have your most useful amiibos, like, right next to you for these?
Basically, yeah.
Like, ready.
There's a couple ones that we use in any percent for strong attack up foods. But I had this one ready for the run. So
Cool.
Epona, we just need any horse. But Epona is fast for me to get here. And I'm gonna be riding to the mounted archery minigame, which broke the game, and I think it was 2019.
Okay.
Maybe I can get this first try. It might take me a couple attempts. Right, how? I'll just let it talk for itself. I'll just explain what I'm doing, and then you will see the result.
Great.
So I'm gonna. The reason I registered Epona there is you only are allowed to play that mini game when you have a registered horse. You have to get to the sky on a registered horse.
So this is the fastest way to get a horse. Not only that, but she's like automatically.
Oh, perfect bond and like best speed, exactly.
Right. This is like the best choice.
Pretty much. It's actually not the fastest horse. There's 2 locations in the game where you can get a faster horse. But Epona is the best stats overall, like 4 for everything. Some people would maybe argue the royal horse is pretty good stats too, but this is just, it's pretty useful. People used to use this in actual speedruns for even any percent in the past, but
Gotcha.
not needed anymore because we just slide now, but yeah.
You have to register a horse rather than just having a horse, right? Like you said?
Exactly.
Okay, because darn, I would have said, like, what about the god of the mountain?
True, that would be great. It has to be registered, like you can't use a bear either, unfortunately.
Yeah, like, oh, I won't do that.
Yeah, it looks like I have to get this first try or I have to reload because I only have exactly 27 rupees and it costs me 20 rupees to do this, so we'll see. So I'm going to start the minigame, and instead of actually playing the minigame, I'm going to turn around. And I'm going to ride up to this hill.
Okay.
And I'm going to wait a little bit. I'm going to wait until the timer gets a little bit lower. And my goal is going to be, when the timer hits around 13, 12 seconds, my goal is going to be to jump off my horse and land on one of those wild horses down there.
Oh.
And I want to land in a way that I'm going to be on the horse, struggling to tame it, but not actually tame it. So that's the goal I'm going for here. And sometimes the horse kicks you away, which is why this might take me 1, 2, 3 attempts. The horses can be really annoying. But I'm going to jump about now. And you don't want to land on one of those spotted horses, because the spotted horses will actually not have to, they won't have to be tamed. So I'm on the horse now. I'm about to run out of stamina, so I'm going to eat one of those dishes I prepared earlier for this moment. And even another one just to be safe. And the minigame is gonna end, so I ended the game on a different horse I started it on.
Oh.
And this is about to break the game.
Okay, of course.
Right. So as you can see, my horse is now leaving, even though Epona is still on the same spot. I will slowly but surely leave the realm now. I'll wait a little bit longer. Looks like I've only hit 0 targets, nothing to write home about. Unfortunate. But I'm in a hurry, actually, Genie. I'm gonna have to leave. I'm gonna have to leave you hanging there. And now that I'm flying away on my horse, horses are just something else, just like Genie said. I will warp away from this location to the shrine that I have activated earlier.
That's one of the goofiest animations I've ever seen.
It is pretty funny. And it's gonna get a little more crazy. I know that sounds unbelievable, but
So good.
it will. So we have now warped away. And the problem is, even though we warped away, the game actually still thinks we're standing on a horse, right? And what this allows us to do is just to jump into space, if we want to. So now, since the game still thinks we are on a horse, it will constantly think we are also on the ground. So this we call moon jump, and we can literally jump forever. We can jump wherever we want to go.
Is there a ceiling in the game?
Is there what in game?
Like a ceiling?
I think eventually. I've never actually tried. I tried it earlier, and I was mashing so much that I started to like not wanting to mash anymore. I was still gaining height. I think there probably is eventually, but
Yeah,
it would take us a long time to get there.
I feel like there's gotta be.
There will be.
So funny.
Yeah, the thing is also there's no fall damage anymore. So if we fall down, it's just like nothing happens. And I'm gonna combine this glitch with something great now. I'm gonna just unequip my bow here. And I'm gonna enter this shrine. We're gonna be stacking glitches on top of each other now.
Oh no. Okay, I mean, oh yes. So even though it's
Yes.
loading a whole new area, it still remembers that.
So this glitch literally only ends if I turn off the game, or if I oh, I'm stuck. Looks like I'm stuck. If I turn off the game, or if I sit on another horse or any mount, like the bike would work, or like the Lord of the Mountain would actually work to stop the glitch again, because
So
that's when the game.
So now what?
What did I do now? Probably just reload. Oh wait, can I
Okay.
still bomb myself? Let me see. Oh, I can still bomb myself. Nice. Sometimes you get stuck, which is the problem with this is you can't combine this glitch well with the other techniques. It's
Okay.
good for casuals that want to do this for the first time and just jump around everywhere. It's really fun to explore the world like this.
For sure.
But it doesn't really work well with like the bullet time bounce, because you can't really open your glider. The only way you can open your glider in this state is using Rivali's scale. And you get stuck sometimes. It can be frustrating to deal with, but it is cool. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stack another glitch on top of this. This is apparatus storage. This right here is an apparatus. This is what we used every time there's a terminal like this, where when you press A, you get to control something with motion controls, like this puzzle.
Right.
We call these apparatus. By doing a specific input here, holding out your shield, pressing crouch and camera at the same time, you can activate the apparatus while taking a picture. You can delete this picture, pause the game, and then load a save file from earlier. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm gonna load this save file. The one that I just got from entering the shrine.
Still has the other glitch activated.
I will still have the other glitch active, but I will have another glitch active too.
How does it not reset? That's so interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. So if I did it right, not only should I have the moon jump glitch now, but also the apparatus storage glitch. And the apparatus storage glitch breaks the game a little bit more in the sense you can do lots of things with it. This is what we use, for example, to duplicate hearts. But one small niche use of it is that you save the temperature from inside the shrine. So since I'm next to Death Mountain, you can maybe already tell where this is going. We're going to be going to Death Mountain, but different.
Oh!
If I did it right, I shouldn't have to worry about
Getting cold.
Oh, it is actually still getting cold. So maybe loading the wrong file there messed me up. It should be fine either way. The only reason I'm coming up here is I can show off the apparatus storage glitch afterwards once again just to see that it actually works. I think the reason it didn't work is because when I loaded the save file, I loaded the save file that was inside that shrine. So maybe the game actually remembered that I had pressed A on that apparatus. I should have probably loaded another save there. The only difference that would have made in our file here is that if you do it right, and I will show this again maybe later just to make sure that we know it works, it would have... that way I can actually show another glitch, so it works out in our favor.
Okay.
Which is going to help us to not get burnt anyway. That was my whole intention, right? I wanted to jump up here
Not set on
without
fire.
getting burnt alive, right?
Yeah.
But there's actually another cool trick that you can do to not have that problem. And you can see, even though I'm getting even though I'm not really, even though I'm getting a lot of height, like I'm almost basically at the peak of that mountain, right? Also, great sound while you, it's just so fun to play this. Even though I'm getting a lot of height, I'm really not fast. Like, the only way I can go faster with this is if I had, like, speed food, so Link would run a little bit quicker.
You
But,
can do like whistle glitch in conjunction.
exactly. So if I try to do, like, a wind bomb here, if I hold out a bomb, I'm, like, holding it. Because I'm not in the air, right? So
Oh,
I can't actually do it because the game still thinks I'm on the ground.
what about stasis launching?
Stasis launch, there's like a weird way to make it work, but even if you got launched, we couldn't open the glider. It's the same problem because
Oh, right.
the glider would obviously only open if we are mid-air.
Wait, but you don't take fall damage, so.
You don't take fall damage, right? Okay, this is real quick. I'm about to catch on fire.
Okay.
One thing you can do when you are catching on fire, and this is gonna happen here, if you spin your weapon, the fire stops. You literally just need to do a charge attack. So if you ever want to make it up to death mode early, you start catching on fire, you start a spin attack, the fire stops. Every time. And what's good about doing this while in Moon Jump is that now we could even do this mid-air. Because we can always spin attack. But even if you don't, if you just walk up here, you wait until you catch on fire. And then you do the spin attack. And you repeat. And if you do it fast, the most you will lose every time is like a half a heart. So if you come up here with like 2-3 cooked durian meals, you can just walk up until you hit the city, right? And then you can buy the gear that you get in the city here, the flameproof gear. So yeah, I'm just gonna spin the weapon mid-air and then keep jumping. It looks like we're about to get attacked by some boulders. Hopefully they don't hit us. I have not prepared for this scenario. I do have fairies, in case. Let's hope for the best. Uh-oh. They are still attacking us.
I think you need to not be on fire.
No, looks like I'm okay.
Okay. Is that...
So... Is that?
What? So are those don't always land. Those look like... Which one? Where? What is triggering that?
Just getting here. So when you first get here, it's like Rudania, the divine beast that we are about to get introduced to, is apparently like knocking on the mountain, and the first time you get here, it like auto triggers. And there's like like some other locations where they fall down. They will also fall down when you attack the divine beast, and you have to do the little escort mission with the Unobo.
That's what I remember.
If Unobo gets caught, then they also fire. But it's just like the divine beast causing those to happen.
I don't know why I don't have that in my memory. I don't have a very good memory, so.
No, I mean, it's pretty random. Like, there's a lot of those random encounters that I would also constantly forget. But yeah, the entire reason I came is, one, to show off this glitch, but I also want to show off one more glitch. I am actually running a little low on food. So hopefully we can clutch this out, because all I need is to activate the shrine up here. And then I'm going to return with the apparatus storage glitch, just to show that it will actually make me immune.
Okay.
And also... Oh, you know what? Actually, one thing that I didn't check, I can explain that in a second, is... There's actually two... Wait, how is my food looking? Oh god, this is gonna be close. There's actually two different versions of apparatus storage. The version that I was using back then is the version without a memory. This is gonna be a little bit confusing. But in order to actually duplicate hearts using apparatus storage, you have to do a special version of apparatus storage. A version that's where you also watch a memory after doing it.
Okay.
And I'm thinking if there's any place. There's actually a place. Okay, we have like just enough time, because it's probably the thing up there is going to be like the last major glitch before we go to the boss fights that I want to show. That I can show it either way. I first want to see
We've got time.
if we need the memory or not. But so okay, what I'm also just realizing is that I would like to get rid of the glitch now, and I won't be able to unless I restart the game. So I'll quickly do that. Because Epona is too far away, so we're just going to be quickly restarting.
Oh, because you would need a horse, right? And you can't call her?
You can't...
Could you've used
You
the
can't call her.
amiibo to rewarp her or something? I don't know.
Also, I'm... Uh-oh. I'm very interested to see where this autosave actually is.
Because it looks like you're in the middle of the sky.
It looks weird, and I know moon jumping definitely messes up the autosaves a little bit. Let's see what happens here.
Okay.
It showed us Hateno, and we are in Hateno. Do we have the shrine active? We do. Okay, good. I didn't lose the progress. So, we have our glider again. We are no longer moon jumping because we restarted the game.
Okay, nice.
And I will show apparatus storage now. So, I will either confirm that the temperature storage only works with the memory version. This is like some nerd stuff right now, but I will show what apparatus storage does other than that. So I will go and here again, activate the camera.
Can you explain? Yeah, so the camera, you take a picture of it, like it's at the same time you activate the actual apparatus?
Right. So what I essentially do is when you activate it, you go into the state of the apparatus, right?
Okay.
But by taking a picture at the same time, I can delay that animation just enough so I can load a different file. So in the back of the game's mind, it's like, oh, I just activated the apparatus. I want to go into the state where Link can control the apparatus with motion controls. And while that's happening, we don't really understand it, but we are assuming the game disabled some of the physics because it doesn't want Link to move around. Maybe Link would get hit by the ball in the maze, and that's not supposed to happen. So what definitely happens, regardless of memory or not, is Link's paraglider breaks. So this is my glider now. It just doesn't work. If I want to try and glide, I'm just gonna fall.
Oh, weird.
Like so maybe I'll jump from like a bigger cliff to show. And then I will warp to Death Mountain to confirm if the temperature storage will work or not.
That looks pretty even.
Yep, that looks like it's not working, right?
Yeah.
I'm jumping off, I'm using the glider, but I'm just falling.
That's so strange. Okay.
No real gliding happening here. So what I do now is I'll go up here. And I will save the game there, because that's the save I'm going to load once I do the apparatus storage again. Because, and I think that's actually what I did wrong, now that I think of it. Apparatus storage, I think, does get lost after the second warp, where moon jump actually stays active the entire time. There's so many glitches, like it's so easy. So, like you can already see it there. It's hot. If you see these like sparks flying around, and you can see it there, Link is about to burn. But I'm gonna save the game. I will keep the save, and I'm once again gonna walk back to the shrine and reconfirm if this is possible or not. Because again, there is one cool glitch up here where I would like to be able to not burn. The worst case is we can always like get some flame gear or get the memory to make sure. But that's the last thing I want to show before we go to boss.
Because you'd warped, it canceled out the apparatus glitch.
Yeah, again, one warp should usually oh yeah, true. That's actually why probably. Like just loading a save file should be fine, but if you warp, I think it's overwritten.
Oh, okay. So the warp will get rid of it.
Yeah, so now, since I have the save up on the mountain, I should be able to do the glitch and then just load that save, and then the temperature should be fine. If not, you need the extra memory. I feel like I remember that you don't. This is why I was even trying to show this off. Gotcha. Let's see and confirm it. So, apparatus storage.
Like, to think that like saves will actually load certain like game states, basically. Like things
yeah, exactly. And the interesting thing is the save loads like more the location and less the game state. It's actually very true for this game. So let's see first of all if this has worked. It has. So now the temperature is stuck to what it was on the shrine, right? We're no longer burning because we just loaded the save. So this is what I was actually meant to do.
Walk on lava then.
Oh god, help. I can't. I'm pretty sure. Because lava would still kind of act like water. It would still void me out. So
Okay.
as soon as I touch it, I would basically... This is already how lava works. It doesn't like instantly kill you. It works like instantly drowning in water. If you fall in, you land on the last
Okay.
spot. Oh, you see the glider is also broken again. But
Gotcha.
this time we can get close here without flame protection. And we are good to go. Maybe I can even... Can I like walk towards it? How close can I get? Okay, actually touching it still seems to damage me. I got 1 heart of damage there. So the damage I would usually take here comes from the temperature being high. But I guess lava has its own like hitbox.
Right.
But yeah, at least we got to show off apparatus storage. Again, there's a different version of it using a memory that, on top of all of this, also allows us to... is this gonna work? Uh-oh. To duplicate hearts, that's not good. Hopefully I can make that one stay up there.
I remember using this, or was it something similar, and you like put it on another metal box, and then you can like fly around.
Right. That's the idea.
Ah.
This glitch is a little outdated, but it's kind of cool to see. I personally very much dislike controlling this. It's pretty hard to do, specifically with the motion controls. But the idea is basically when you set 2 minecarts on top of each other, and ideally you want to do this on like relatively even ground, otherwise taking off is going to take quite some time. And the problem is there is not many minecarts in the game. There's like... Here there's a couple. There's like 1 random one in Hyrule Castle. And that's pretty much it. So you don't really have much to work with when you do this glitch. It's like, if you're really good at this, once you have, and we call this the flying machine, once you have it set up, you can technically take it anywhere and like just fly around wherever you want. Oh god, this is not looking good. Hello, please. Hello.
But yeah, I remember seeing like examples kind of like it, and hearing that it's pretty difficult to control.
It's very difficult to control, and there's even like a different version of it where you use, instead of using a second minecart, you use a metal box on top of a minecart, and that is the worst. It's so bad. I would really not recommend going for it. Hopefully I can at least take like a little flight here eventually.
Please, and you kind of look for like stable ground?
Yeah, I'm looking for some even ground to take off on.
Okay.
Because right now I'm trying to like stack this minecart on top of the other, but it is not cooperating with me at all.
So how do you know when you have it?
Just from how the minecarts look. Like this minecart that I'm placing should push like basically like this. And now I guess we hope for the best. This is already looking bad again, but maybe it's good enough to try. I mean, we're kind of moving, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe I can save this to the point where I can at least fly a little bit.
I mean, we are.
Yeah, we're kind of flying, you know? Like a little bit.
It's still pretty cool.
You get the idea.
Yeah.
And then again, you kind of steer this with motion controls. And then you crash against the wall and everything was for nothing. But if you are really good at this glitch, you can fly through the entire world. There's actually a setup that you can do, which is really good for most areas. If you wear 1 piece of like flame protection, let's say the pants that give you flame protection, and you also wear 2 pieces that give you cold protection, you can, if you get good at this glitch, which I really don't recommend. I wanted to show it off because it's literally a spaceship, essentially. Because think about it, we have the slide now. It's so much faster to set up. We can set it up anywhere. It basically does the same. And we don't have to constantly use motion controls to use it.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to get good at this glitch, if you use that setup, you could fly anywhere in the world without ever really taking damage. Because you're prepared against the cold, you're prepared against the heat. You have it basically all covered.
Huh.
Okay. So that is the last little movement glitch I wanted to show off. I am going to make my way towards the boss fights and show an interesting skip there. And then also one big thing, very interesting thing, literally at the very end, at the very last fight of the game.
Ooh, okay. Is there anything, I know besides like that hammer potentially for durability, but is there any other reason that Kilton is useful outside of 100%?
For like speedrunning sake?
Yes.
Not really. He's actually required for 100%.
Right.
Is the interesting part. Because in a 100% run, according to our current rule set, it's really hard to make a good 100% rule set because there basically isn't true 100% in this game unless you said play every minigame, get 999 of each item, beat every enemy, and whatnot. The only thing that's in the game that kind of tracks completion is the little map meter in the bottom left. But that also doesn't cover everything because it only covers locations like Koroks and shrines on the map. There is no great... Basically, we made a rule set that we believe covers most things, right?
Yeah, main quest, side quests.
Right. And also some of the armor upgrades, we decided we only have to upgrade the armor that's permanent, the one that you can't sell. That made sense for us.
Okay.
And this guy, we don't need his weapon. That made sense for us. Only getting the permanent armor upgraded, like the Zora armor. And I know it just randomly loaded, and
it was like that was not loaded.
Nope. One thing that we wanted to include is the star menu. So when you press plus, there's like a menu on the right here. There's star items. Right now I have 2. Those are key items, the Paraglider and the Sheikah Slate. If you play the game, what you'll have is you'll have the champion abilities, you'll have horse gear, you'll have the Hestu's amazing gift, Hestu's gracious gift. We received that they're getting all 900 Korok seeds.
The best. So
it's so useful. It's great. Thank you, Hestu. But 3 items there are the Medals of Honor. And the Medals of Honor is what Kilton gives out after defeating each set of mini-bosses. So in this game, there's Hinox mini-bosses, there is Talus mini-bosses, and Molduga mini-bosses. If you beat all of them from Kilton, you get a Medal of Honor. And by the way, what I'm doing here is I'm just running through the castle. I'm getting some final equipment I need before I can beat the bosses relatively easy.
I love that.
Yeah, that guy just is a quick 10 bomb arrow spawn.
Just tricked into going here, you know.
Yeah, the main reason I come down here is there's a cooking pot and I need to make my attack up food. But yeah, the Medals of Honor are part of the 100% run, so you need to talk to Kilton to get those.
Right. Otherwise, well, if you're doing the side quests, one of them involves talking to him.
Yeah, getting a picture of Kilton.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Good point. So this guy is probably about to load in on us again. The reason I'm getting rid of him is because the boomerang is useful for Thunderblight. And we want to use this cooking pot. And you can't cook if there's enemies nearby.
Okay.
Well, you know what I'll do? I actually have an idea. This is not a glitch, but a bit of game knowledge that will help me out here. So in this chest below me, there is a dragon part. It is Nadra's Fang. I'm not sure who has messed around with a lot with cooking in this game, but adding Nadra's Fang to a dish gives the dish a huge duration boost. So normally the best thing to use for that is dragon horns, but fangs work pretty well. So if I use 4 bananas and Nadra's Fang and cook them in a cooking pot, I'm getting a attack up potion that lasts for 18 minutes.
Oh wow! I never knew that the Fang was there, the Fang was there. That's wild.
Yeah, it's nice to have.
Okay, it's very helpful.
So I have a strong potion now that I'm gonna use to beat the boss fights. The only thing I'm getting here is 3 more ancient arrows.
Okay, which are super helpful.
Super helpful, lots of damage. We can't one-shot the boss fights, obviously. But we can do a lot of damage.
Where's that?
And then I'm gonna make... Where is where I am?
Yeah, so it seems like will any dragon part increase the duration or no?
Yes, and it doesn't matter which dragon it is, it only matters which part. The most effective is the horn. A dragon horn boosts the duration up to 30 minutes. So you could have a 30-minute level 3 speed up potion, a 30-minute level 3 attack up potion. There was no horn nearby, but if there was, that's what I would use.
Right. Makes sense. That is very, very long.
Exactly. So I used 2 wind bombs here to enter the final arena of the game. Well, not quite. The final arena is technically where the Dark Beast boss fight is. But before, and I'm gonna have to focus a little bit more here because I have 4 hearts, so I can't really make a mistake, otherwise I die. I have pretty decent equipment, but I'm still gonna have to play pretty well.
Yeah,
I should have honestly had a fairy. Hopefully I'm not gonna choke. We'll see what happens. Because I would like to make it to Dark Beast.
I was gonna say, you are not in a rush. We are not.
No, I'm usually not supposed to probably be here at this state. Right. But yeah. So I'm saving here because I want to start, no matter what, these fights off with a Drake. And I'm just going to do this and then let it speak for itself. So I shot an arrow there. That's the important part. I shot an arrow into the arena. And now we are going to be fighting Windblight Ganon, because when you get to these boss fights and you haven't beaten the Divine Beasts yet, the blights show up here.
Right.
So now Windblight Ganon is dead, and we are fighting Waterblight Ganon. Okay, so this was the skip, right? We basically skipped an entire boss fight there. So we skipped Windblight Ganon. What happened there in this cutscene was basically because I shot that arrow into the arena and then entered the boss fight, the arrow was stuck in the air, constantly damaging Ganon. It was stuck there, and the hitbox was active, constantly damaging the blight. So by the time the cutscene was over, he had already lost his health completely.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that's bad. I don't even know if I survived this. I was too close there. Barely. Not a good start to the fight. I actually overestimated the power of the Master Sword. Instead, what I'm going to be using more now is the good old spin to win technique I talked about earlier.
Right.
Specifically because I have these strong claymores now.
Right.
Using spins is really strong.
Again, I keep thinking of the terminal montage video now.
True. It's gonna be somewhat like that. The master mode run that I talked about earlier here is even crazier, because that Lionel bow is just so strong.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, these threads are gonna be a little random. This is not usually the equipment I have in any percent. This is just random strong equipment, so it should still be fine. The one thing I'm a little conscious about is Calamity, because Calamity is always hard. But again, this is just a lot of damage. The combination of 72 damage weapon with attack up food, which gives you a 50% attack buff. That's like 100 damage every hit. These blights have like between 800 and 1,200 health, so it's pretty fast.
Really, yeah, it's really, really fast. That's wild.
Thunderblight is a little scary, so I hope that goes well.
Which one?
Thunderblight.
Yeah, Thunderblight is the worst. Absolutely.
Definitely a scary fight.
Yeah. For first timers, it can be brutal.
Definitely. The funny thing is, actually, in this arena, Thunderblight is arguably easier.
I could see that.
Because
You don't have, like, the weird angles and things you have to climb up for him.
the arena is a huge reason that Thunderblade is hard.
Oh. Yeah, that would
the
make
first
sense.
one. So far, so good.
There we go, halfway. Awesome.
So this is where the boomerang is going to come into play. By waiting for Thunderblade to do this attack, I can use the boomerang throw to break his shield, then headshot him, then go for 4 attacks, break his shield again, and then go for the spin to win strat.
Wow.
The only problem is, I know it feels so great to just destroy this guy after suffering so much when you first like try and beat him. So the problem is Ganon. Ganon is a pushover when you actually play the game, but when you are this weak, he is actually not weak. Because he has a lot of health. If we don't beat the Blights, he starts the fight on full HP.
Right, it's a lot harder.
It's a lot
more to do.
A lot more damage to do, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to...
You ever counter him?
I'm gonna try to use the Master Sword a lot more. The Master Sword being on 60 damage is actually pretty helpful.
Right.
This. Adds a lot of extra DPS.
Woo! Oh, forget about Flurry Rest. You ever counter his, like the beams, basically?
That's not good. We need to parry 1 laser later. To be fair, it is 7 AM. Maybe my reflexes are a little bit worse than usual. Hopefully that's not too bad, because can't really mess up the parries.
Right.
Yeah, I'm definitely jumping too early right now. Hopefully I get that better. The thing is, in normal mode, surprisingly, phase 2 is actually easier, because we get to do a specific trick. I'm jumping way too early.
As long as you're not taking damage. Watching somebody who's actually good at this game.
This should at least be the end of phase... Okay, I needed 1 hit. This should at least be the end of phase 1. Phase 2 is gonna be the important part.
Refreshing.
He did give me the laser, which is important. Okay, I really need to focus on this for a bit.
Nice, going through that.
Oh. Okay, I'm not sure why that happened. If I did it right, I should have been able to stunlock him. I guess we need to play a little bit better now.
You got this.
That was my bad.
Oh!
That's unfortunate. I tried to parry those lasers there to get him from the wall, which I shouldn't have done, because the only reason you want to get him from the wall is the only reason you usually want to get him from the wall is whatchamacallit?
Like, it's to break his invincibility, or?
Yeah, exactly. Because in master mode, he regenerates health there. So you want to get him from the wall as soon as possible. You can get him from the wall here early to save time, which is nice. But it's very risky. Because like with my HP right now, if I miss a parry, if I make a mistake, I just die.
Got you. Do you have any meals to help you for any?
No, I go for something else instead. I go for a little bit of a different equipment upgrade.
Gotcha.
That should help me. What I will need is a second bow, a second Royal Guards bow, which is the bow I've already used a lot in that previous fight. that allows me to basically make phase 1 guaranteed. I was actually playing well until that point. It's just that with this fight, if you make a mistake, that's it.
It's
Because
fatal.
you will get one shot. There's no like one shot protection, and
How much damage?
you will lose all progress.
How much damage does he typically do per hit?
I honestly don't know, because I don't like, the only time I actually fight him like this is in any percent runs. In other runs, he is a complete pushover. Like I said, you never get hit because you have the Rook's protection, you have Obosa's Fury. Those things will decimate him in seconds. And
That's fair, yeah.
And you literally don't have to worry about it ever. But right now, I have no armor. I have no...
Oh yeah, you have no armor.
I have no real efficient ways to deal with him. So that's the problem. I have no way, I have no Mifa's Grace, I have no hearts. I should have definitely, like I said, I'm thinking about this now because I just want to get it for sure next try instead of messing around. And if I want to guarantee that, I should probably get the gear, get some fairies, and then the fight is guaranteed.
You can?
I can. I'm just thinking what the best way is to get back here. Because unfortunately, that is the most annoying position I've ever seen this Guardian in. Let's see if I survive. Barely.
Yeah, it's a bummer you don't have the, that DLC warp thing.
Yeah. I never really made it to Akala on this run. It's a beautiful region, one of my favorite regions in the game.
Yeah.
But it is, unfortunately, not very glitch heavy.
For sure. It is a really cool region, actually. A couple places we did not get to see.
I'm just trying to grab some more arrows.
Because I assume that the glitches you would use in those areas are things we've already seen a bunch.
Sorry?
I'm assuming that the glitches you would use in the areas we did not visit are related to ones that like you've already shown off a bunch.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to think where I can get the best fairies right now, and then we just refight the boss. It's like, at this point it would just be an any percent run, but unfortunately there's just a really cool glitch at the end I would like to show.
For sure, yeah.
During Dark Beast Ganon.
Are there any fairies in here?
No, I have to get the fairies and then slide back. But I'll be able to slide back to the fight itself, instead of like having to go through castle again.
Oh, cool. Okay, makes sense.
The only thing I was thinking about is what fairy fountain to go to, because I will probably go to the Garuda one, because the fairies on the Kakariko one are probably not respawned yet.
Oh, they haven't respawned. Okay.
So the way the fairies work in this game is there's two factors that will decide whether you will get them or not. And the first one is whether you have, I think it's 7 fairies or something, or is it 4? I think it's actually 4. If you have 4 fairies in your inventory, that's it. They will not spawn because the game doesn't want you to have like infinite fairies, so you basically are not afraid of dying. You can cheese that a little bit. And then they also have like a normal respawn timer, like most other items in the game. That's not actually related to the Blood Moon, like many people think. It is related to just time passed in the game. Hello? These I wanted to sell, please.
Oh yeah, all the stones, right? And the topaz. Yeah.
Yes. Just getting some durians, and in this case I will actually stack up on a big meal. Just to start the fight with some extra hearts, so I maybe have at least 1 shot protection. Then I'm going to slide over to the fairy fountain, get the fairies, and beat the game. Hopefully.
Yeah, okay.
But actually, to be fair, I can already tell you we will never beat the game in this run. Because if we do the glitch in Dark Beast, we won't be able to.
Okay. I'm excited to see what
it will be worth if we get there. This is the Sansi race, by the way, that you can see in the back. Which is I talked about this earlier, the reason that all shrines became so much faster. because you can enter this shrine early. Usually you can grab this orb, you have to do Vana Boris, everything.
Right.
But the shrine coordinate warp I did earlier allows us to not have to deal with that anymore. So here I'm actually using these spins, just to be careful, because if I hit the wall there unintentionally, I will lose my sliding state, and I don't want that because I want to slide all the way into the sandstorm to grab some fairies.
You know exactly which direction to go.
I think.
Okay.
The second you enter the sandstorm here, it usually clears up for a second.
Right.
Like here.
Oh, weird.
So even though it gets bad again now, we've already seen where we have to go.
Oh, it's just right here?
Yes.
Oh, God, I thought it was so much farther. Oh.
And again, I'm going for those little hops.
Right.
Do I wait for this fairy to come down? Or am I trying to catch it? Nice. Okay, I got it. 4 fairies. We should be pretty stacked. We go back to the fights. Try the one again.
Yeah, I think
we have
that'll
2
be
bows now. Ganon should be an easy one-shot this time. And
then we get to
not,
see
not,
how
not
you're
one
not
shot,
going to beat the game.
And then we're going to see how I'm not going to beat the game. If we make it to the Dark Beast, that would be great. If you'd let me, Calamity. Yeah, this is the thing, honestly, when... I'm not going to make excuses for myself, but when you're tired, this fight is pretty hard.
Sure.
This is also usually, even though I highly recommend people to learn the speed game, it's amazing, and there's so many things you can do in it. This is tough. This is where most people get stuck for a little bit when you learn the any % speedrun. Because yes, because you don't have the equipment that I have here. You have even more specific equipment.
Right.
And the problem is when you practice this, whenever you die to Ganon, you will start at the first blight. So there's going to be that point where you kind of know already how to beat the game. You kind of know how to beat the blights, but you just can't practice Ganon because every time you get there, he does an attack that you didn't know yet. And you're at the beginning again. It's really frustrating.
That's annoying, for sure.
It's definitely super annoying. Okay, so this should be the file.
While you're starting this, for those who are interested in getting to the speedrun, what do you think is the first piece of tech that they should work on?
Piece of tech they should work on?
Yeah, you showed today.
Probably still, and that might sound a little surprising because I said I didn't. I don't use them as much anymore. Probably still the wind bomb. It's something. It's an easy transition from casual playthrough into speedrunning because you can do a casual playthrough and add wind bombs to it. It will be very natural because it's going to be a super useful. Wow, thank you, Windblade, for not dying and giving me some extra time to explain. You can use it smoothly in your casual playthrough just by going from shrine to shrine and stuff. Did I not eat my attacker potion? Okay, I did. And stuff.
Okay.
And then when you work on speedruns, you already know how to wind bomb, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And then you can just use that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's super fair.
This is how most people that I know got into the run. Like they just did wind bombs casually, and they were like, "Well, actually, since I know them now, I might as well try to speedrun."
Yeah, that's fair. Because it can help. You're saying it's like the best tech that would just help initially with multiple types of areas.
And it makes your casual, like you don't need to speedrun to enjoy it.
Yeah.
It just makes it like yes, obviously there's like horses and stuff, but it just makes it so much more enjoyable when you've already played the game and you want to get to that main story content again. You want to get to those shrines again, to those Lionel fights. Being able to reach those faster by just flying through the air, it's a huge bonus, I think.
Yeah, that's fair. Some people are just gonna want like the slow burn. I'm gonna run there. I'm gonna ride my horse. I want to
I
climb a
mean,
mountain, but
I think that's
having
super important for your first casual playthrough, right?
yeah,
Because that's like where the love for the game comes from
for sure.
for many
But then
people.
having school down the road, yeah, it could be really cool. Yeah.
But once you do that second one, that might be a good time to add those wind bombs
Mhm.
to the mix.
We have a question in chat. Is there a go-to extreme completionist run to check out first? Like 100% run sealed safe?
I mean, there is a 100% run.
Mhm. Yeah. I'm just trying to clarify the question.
But it's again, it might not satisfy because it technically it even still doesn't complete everything. So the only thing there is right now is there's a bunch of people, and I might do this as a challenge in the
Like
future,
max percent?
basically. And
Yeah.
it is getting to the point where this is possible. It used to be impossible. There's been a couple discoveries that make it seem possible now. For example, a classic one is ferries. Like I just said, ferries usually don't respawn. There's a new glitch now that allows you to get 999 ferries. Another big one is giant ancient cores. They have a horrible, horrible drop rate. And it's going to take you hours and hours and hours to get enough giant ancient cores to have 999. But it's a challenge that a couple of people are working on. There's some people on YouTube that are technically working on that.
Mm.
But 100% is like the run that does the most game content.
Gotcha. Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
But
like it's
I've just heard people say, like, oh, I see 100%, but they still don't really do everything. There's stuff missing, which I guess is fair, but it's not really possible any other way. Like 100% already has to be done TA with breaks, because it's literally unhealthy if people do like 20-hour runs in one sitting.
right. Yeah, for sure. It is definitely not good for your health. Also thinking like, gosh, man, trying to get 999 of all items is ridiculous. Like, well, how would you do weapons for that?
Weapon for what?
For that kind of category?
For 100%.
Like a max percent, if you were.
Oh, you would probably. I mean, you can't have all weapons at the same time.
Right.
That's the same thing. That's why I said technically, if you really want to take it to the max level, I guess the true max percent run is impossible. Also, I might have to be a little bit more cautious about when I talk, because it's this guy again.
Yep. Okay, well, here's what I can say in the meantime. So yeah, LimCube is talking about all these awesome tutorials that you can go check out, and lots of content here. I agree with chat as well. The Breath of the Wild community seems really welcoming, and speedrunning communities in general are often like very like, hey, yeah, join us. Like, we've done a lot. We like to explore a lot. Like, they're interested in helping other people learn the game, or anybody who likes the glitch hunt or anything like that. Like, or if you ever find anything weird that happens in the game, like, tell the speedrunning community. They want to figure that out. So there are a lot of tools at your disposal for speedrunning in general, and especially with Zelda games, because they're so incredibly popular, which makes them so incredibly broken, because a lot of people are putting all that time and energy into it, figuring out, how do I get to the map? How do I break down the code? Like, how do I do this and that with it? So yeah, there's definitely tons you can do. Going to speedrun.com will often have, not only the leaderboards and rules, but there's a lot of like links to Discords, and you can check out those communities and check out all the categories that they accept and things like that. And Lim here is one of the best for sure, which you can see if you go to speedrun.com, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to have him on the show, because I try to pick people who are really going to know what they're talking about. So really, I was very, very excited for Lim to come on, because it's like butt o'clock. Like middle of the morning, so like a really nice thing to do. And again, like, I love this game, and it's great to see so many of you all who are in here enjoying this. And I think that, if you've seen all these things before, like you've been in a stream, and I'm sure it's been cool, but I'm guessing that even watching his stream, like maybe you've been able to learn something new, because you get to slow things down and see what's going on here. And it looks like he's done with his face, so I'm gonna hand it off back to him.
Thank you for carrying me there. What I did there, if you saw it in the background, it actually requires a little bit more focus. It's called the stun lock. So by spin attacking and then always basically ending your spin attack on a specific time, you are able to stun lock Ganon. So I was basically constantly slamming down my weapon at the same time there, and that allowed me to constantly break his shield, constantly break and then re-break his shield. I actually almost got sniped there. That is a very rare occasion. The good thing is, even if I miraculously die to Dark Beast Ganon, the biggest pushover in the game, and I don't get that. That's confusing to me, because here they put a save. They put an autosave here, where if you somehow die here, they will spawn you back at the beginning of Dark Beast Ganon. But for Calamity, they are just ruthless, and they're like, oh, you have to do everything again. But I guess, the only reason I guess I can understand why is because I guess they didn't want people, they wanted people to more likely beat the Divine Beast. So they were like, okay, so you actually have to do this. So we're gonna make it really hard for you to beat it any other way.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay.
So, Epona, I didn't actually want you to come here. So this might take me 1 to 3 attempts. And this is what we did earlier in Cryonis. You can maybe already kind of tell where this is going.
Yeah, I
because
can tell
this barrier is probably easier to clip through than the barrier in Wind Waker. Like this. It is just shield clippable. And what makes this interesting...
You can't go any farther.
I cannot go any farther, but I am now on a different map. And this is very interesting. So the Dark Beast Ganon boss fight, even though it is on Hyrule Field, is on a specific map where the game doesn't really exist. So for example, this tower, you can already tell, is pretty broken. If you have made it to this tower before in your casual playthrough, you would know that there's guardians here that attack you. So on this map, not only are some things not existent, but enemies belong to those things. So there's no enemies. The only enemies that are in this map are random enemy spawns. Sometimes on the ground there will be these little peblets. They are the mini taluses. Those exist in this map. But every spawn that's static, that's always there, is gone. With the one exception of overworld bosses. Hinoxes and taluses do exist, but every normal enemy is gone. And you can actually explore the entirety of Hyrule and see some really strange things. I'm going to focus on one thing to end today's showcase, which is I'm going to go back to the boss fight and see what's going to happen there. Yeah, one example that I can explain, if you have learned how to shield, see, this is a random spawn, which is why the choo-choo is actually there. But one cool example for this is if you... Also, I have the Bow of Light with me, by the way, which is kind of nice. I can use that in the game. Unfortunately, there's no enemies to use it on.
This is wild.
There's actually a different glitch where you can take the Bow of Light on a new save file. That's really cool, but it takes hours. I've done it once, and I will never do it again.
Does it have durability? I assume it doesn't.
It doesn't. It has a durability value assigned to it, but it doesn't lose it. So you can shoot it infinitely.
Huh. And it would kill, everything.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Hurry! This is wild.
Looks like I was in a glitched state there and couldn't wind bomb, but let's try it again.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love that certain enemies will actually spawn here, but other ones won't.
It's only the ones that are random. So in this game, there's static enemies, which will always be at the same spot. They will respawn if there's a blood moon. For example, the Guardians in Hyrule Castle are static enemies. Do we see any Guardians here? Nope. They don't exist because they are static enemies. So I want you to specifically focus on the audio here once we've made it back to the boss fight.
Okay. I feel like this narrative of what you're doing right now lines up incredibly well with the whole experience people go through playing this game. Whereas
Definitely true.
Zelda's like, hurry, I
Please
can't
help
wait
me. Oh,
for much
sorry.
longer. And Link's like going around like fooling a dude into giving him his shoes and look at us. Oh my gosh.
We got a pretty good view there of Dark Beast. We've made it pretty far now.
She's doing
But
a good job pulling him in there.
he's still trying. Oh, he's still trying. This is actually an extremely common mistake. If you've ever wind bombed, you know this too well. Sometimes the bomb that you use to hit Link is still somewhere out there, hasn't quite despawned yet, and you try to do that wind bomb, and you realize, oh, it was still sitting somewhere, so you blow up the bomb instead of actually using it as a projectile. So let's focus on the audio here. It's gonna be a little bit eerie.
Waiting. Oh.
I mean, we can still see that something is happening there, but we have now officially reached the castle again, and the music has stopped. Now, there's a hole in the ground,
Creepy.
which is interesting, and it looks like... Wait, this is actually extremely interesting. Wow, so the walls are still up too. It's almost like the boss fight is still going on. But yeah, the thing is, this is exactly the area between... when we go here again, we get our Dark Beast music again. The fight kind of restarts, and if we go back out, the music stops again. I think it should happen about here. There's actually a laser stuck in there. It's really broken. And the one thing I quickly want to mention about this state, which I won't be able to show off today, is when you go, and this is a niche fact, when you go to Lurline, which is that little like fishing village, and you play the little mini game where you have to open the chest and you can like make it's like a gamble mini game or whatever. If you manage to if you just play that game, the kind of entire overworld resets. Right now, I'm technically not allowed to warp. If I play that minigame, you're actually allowed to warp around in this world. You can technically save on this world, and then you have a file where Dark Beast is constantly just chilling on Hyrule Field. It's an interesting file to keep.
Can you just walk back through the barrier?
The Dark Beast boss fight?
Yes.
I could probably clip back in and then beat the fight eventually. I don't know the clip setup to do that, but I guess it's technically possible.
But once you're on the other side of the barrier like you are now, you can't just walk back through it. Like
you can't walk. No, you would have to clip again.
Oh, interesting.
Because the collision is active on both sides. One thing I would like to try is I'm actually not sure if there's barriers up here in this little window, because if you do this on a file where you've already completed... Wait, let me try and this out. This is like a final testing thing. Maybe we learned something new in the process. If you do this glitch on a file where you have already beaten the Blights, which is the boss fights I did at the beginning of this, like the boss fights that you usually do in the Divine Beasts, you can actually enter the boss fight arena again. I want to try if I can do that on this file too by going through this hole. No, okay, they did actually secure that too. If you do that, I guess that's only possible once you've beaten the Blights.
Okay.
Ganon, the Ganon cutscene plays, but Ganon is invisible. He's already considered as broken, and you're basically stuck. You're stuck forever in that like room. You could technically like again like restart or something like that, but the game has remembered that you've beaten Ganon, but it's still in the state where the fight is not completely over yet. So it's pretty messed up. But I guess that's only the case when you've beaten the Blights, so we can't see that either. But it's interesting to know that there is basically, and I call this a different map. I think the way this really works is like, also, for example, it doesn't show shrines. Like, shrines don't exist here. The way this really works is, and I can't leave right now, apparently too, I'm stuck here. the way this really works is there's probably just flags. So the game sets flags like while the Dark Beast fight is active, don't spawn shrines, don't spawn enemies, and those flags are just active now.
Gotcha.
And if you do go away far enough, the music stops, and you can explore this world.
Does the music stop everywhere, or will it still work in its respective areas like it did with the castle?
Yeah, I think it's like I don't know if there's like a circle, but for example in Lurline, where that chest mini game is, the music is not active there, and it's not active at the castle. But it's an interesting little detail that this exists. You can leave the arena. When I first did this, I honestly thought this should be way more broken, because the game looks so weird. But the one cool thing about this is, if you're ever bored and you want to learn how this is done, if you play that minigame in Lurline and you allow yourself to warp, this is actually a pretty interesting way to explore the game. It's almost like the peaceful Minecraft mode.
Yeah.
Because there's no enemies, so you can just like literally just focus on like, yeah, the nature.
Can you do shrines in this state?
No,
or
because the shrines, that's another thing, they're also not loaded.
what about Korok seeds?
Good question. I'm pretty sure they're not loaded.
Is there any nearby you could look for?
I know where there's. Yeah, I know where one is. Actually, exactly where these trees are. There's a Korok seed.
Huh. Okay. This is so interesting. Okay, there's something that would technically try to attack you, but
Looks like they are not here, because usually exactly here there's a rock.
oh, interesting.
And I definitely haven't gotten that on this file. So I guess Korok seeds is another thing they disable the flags for. The only thing that really stays are these random enemies.
Right. You were saying.
One thing that might still be interesting, let me see if I can make it.
This is so fascinating.
I know. This will happen forever. Is one cool thing is if you fight an overworld boss, like a Hinox, because Hinoxes have health bars, just like Dark Beast Ganon does.
Oh,
so the health bars become a little bit strange.
Wait, so they are here though, even though they're
the overworld bosses are the one exception.
Okay.
To the rule. Trying to remember. Oh, I think it's right over there at that like empty space. When I first did this, I was really hoping that maybe we can glitch the game in a way where if you beat an overworld boss, it actually damages Dark Beast Ganon because they share the health bar.
Oh, yeah.
But it doesn't work like that. It just gets pretty glitchy. I'll show you that.
Okay.
And then I think we'll wrap it up here.
Okay. This has been so fun. I know that there's more to show off too, I'm sure.
There's... Yeah, like I said, about some of the glitches, I could hold like a TED talk, essentially.
This is so fun, though.
Oh, we get a remix now. See, the Hinox is already like halfway done, and now he didn't take damage, which is weird.
Yeah.
He still doesn't take damage, and I think it's gonna update in a second here. Yeah, he's dead, but the health bar is still there.
That's so strange. Okay.
Oh,
well,
and see, now it looked like Dark Beast Ganon took a bunch of damage, but he didn't. I don't know. It's just strange.
Oh no, yeah, and it goes back up for him. That's
Yeah.
so strange. Okay.
It also was a good showcase of how strong the Bow of Light is. That's 100 damage with like 50 damage multipliers, and the range is like this.
That's the most damage you can do in the game, correct?
It's in terms of base damage is up there.
Yeah.
The highest base damage you can get is once you play the game a lot. Weapons kind of like modifiers on them, and these Royal Guards Claymores can go up to like 118 damage or something crazy. But
or 80.
118.
Okay, 18. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, a lot. Holy moly. Huh.
But yeah, it's also interesting to know that you can't warp in this state until you play that mini game. So it's pretty bugged.
Yeah, just like the fact that you're so broken out of this area, and it just decides to be like, you can do this, you can't do this. This exists, this doesn't. Like, what's
and then
actually
again, like,
why?
Exactly. Like, for example, these guys are here. This is a random spawn.
Right.
These little peblets. And what's also interesting is that some NPCs are there too. It seems like that this world has inconsistent rules, which makes complete sense because obviously this is not something they expected players to explore.
Right.
They just wanted to probably make sure to like save resources here or something like that,
Okay.
while you fight Dark Beast Ganon in the overworlds in Hyrule Fields. That's just what I'm assuming.
Is everybody at every village spawned in, or only some people?
Some people, and it's also strange, like, for example, the shop vendors. I was trying to go to one quickly, but I can't really set up a slide here. I haven't really prepared for this. Like, some of the shop vendors, they actually spawn in for like 1 second when you want to buy something, and then just kind of phase out of existence afterwards.
Oh.
Also, doing wind bombs in this mode is actually a lot harder. And you know why?
Why?
Because the map is gone. And now I can't see where my coordinate angles are.
Oh, yeah! You can't actually...
So I basically have to guess. Like, I don't exactly know always at where north is and where my directions are.
What you could do is always drop a bomb first when you're jumping.
Exactly. That's actually something that people do in Hyrule Castle, where the map gets replaced by the castle. And you also can see... Which is nice. We're finding some new shrines here. Oh! I guess this is where the Monjatoma Shrine would
That's
be.
where it's supposed to be. So it's the same thing with towers. What happens if you haven't activated a tower yet? And you can't climb them, or are they also unloaded?
Yeah, so you can get on the top, but the activation terminal is just not there. It's actually funny that we found this. Like, I'm literally basically inside it, but it's not there.
So strange.
Pretty broken.
Wow. I'm just like, oh, what else can we do? Like, where else can we go?
I know. That's the natural reaction.
What happens if you try to go to the island in the southeast
Eventide
corner?
Island? Oh, the music stopped.
Yeah.
Eventide Island, I think, does not get activated.
So can you just go and land there and then nothing happens?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. We made it to another space where apparently the music is not active. And now that we're already sliding here, I don't know if there's any music. Actually, I think there is. Yeah, okay, I already hear new music.
There we go, yeah.
Yeah, I think now that we are here, all that's going to change is that there's just not going to be any shrines. I mean, we can see. I guess we're exploring just a little more. I want to see... Now I'm curious myself, because I haven't completely researched everything about this state.
Right.
If for example, so when you first go to Rito Village, usually there would be a cutscene quickly introducing the Vine Beast Warm Meadow. Will that still play? We are about to find out. Which NPC is going to be there? Is it going to be a ghost town?
Oh yeah, who's actually...
So we can already see the shrine isn't there.
That's so weird. This is so weird.
And we just discovered the village. So the question is, will there be the cutscene in about now? Looks like it will be. Will it look normal? We'll see.
Yeah.
That looks not very normal to me, actually. It looked like it was like deactivated. That's maybe because it checked for the cutscene. I feel like that cutscene looks different for me. Maybe it's like the 8 AM placebo.
Are you so far from Ganon that his HP bars just goes away?
I mean, it will just be unloaded for now, but it will not. It's just not loaded, but it will not go down. The game will remember.
There when you go back.
It's technically there, yeah. But we can see this is a ghost town now technically, but the shopkeepers in this game are so dedicated. If you do want to buy something, eventually they do show up, if I remember correctly. Hello? Can I buy something? Maybe that only worked on the one on Lurline. I know it worked on Lurline. Maybe the items here are too high up.
This is so odd.
Because there's like an invisible wall here. Oh, you know what? Maybe the guy that sells the clothing would work.
So Lindsay just showed us an example of fighting a Hinox, and their bar and title will overwrite Ganon's temporarily while they're fighting, and then if you beat him, it still just shows Ganon's underneath again.
So looks like it doesn't work here. I got this to work in Lurline, where there's this person that sells fish. They actually showed up for like a second and ask you, hey, do you want to buy something? And if you say no, they just disappear again. It does look pretty fun. But it looks like this is just a ghost town in this stage. Nobody here.
So strange, dude.
This is where we would usually talk to the chief. The collision is not loaded in either.
So then will the other guy be gone at flight range?
Yeah, he would only spawn after we talk to Saki here
Oh, right,
and watch the memory. But she's not here. And the chief is not here, so we can't start the quest. No one's here.
This is so odd. Yeah, what happens if you set it afire? That's a good question.
We can try that too, but... Let me see. Is the fire on? Yeah. Yep. It's not a good time, apparently, right now.
Oh!
To do that, unfortunately, because I guess the game still thinks we're fighting Dark Beast.
It's like, go fight him! Zelda's
Yep.
can't do it on her own. But at least we don't have to hear her, like, trying to yell at you.
And the music maybe got a bit repetitive too, but yeah.
It's really good music and awesome when you're fighting it.
I agree.
Because it's epic, but then you're like, alright. I'm not there anymore.
I've had enough of this now. I'm not even fighting him. Leave me alone.
Oh, can you enter Divine Beast? I don't know if it'll spawn in.
No. Because the Divine Beast is also tied to an NPC. Like maybe if I had previously activated a Divine Beast and got it to the state where you could enter it by warping in, and then you did the little glitch with the gambling chests, and then you can warp again. Maybe you can warp in. Will you be able to fight the boss? Maybe the same thing would happen where...
With a Hina?
When you try to beat... No. Maybe when you try to beat the boss, it's invisible because the game remembered that you've technically beaten the boss in Hyrule Castle. There's definitely lots of things to try. I could spend like 40 hours here in trying things. If you wanted to know how to escape this boss fight, what you have to search up on YouTube is... Oh, looks like that Divine Beast is still chilling. You would have to look up... See, this is what I mean. It is broken. Isn't he going backwards? Hello? Hello? Vito?
Is it going backwards?
What's going on? He disappeared.
What? Wait, what?
Hello? Hello? Oh, it's us. Very suspicious. But if you want to do this yourself, you would have to search up the tutorial for ESC, Extended Shield Clip. That's the glitch you need to clip through the barrier.
That's so strange. This is really cool. This is honestly really cool.
Yeah. Looks like the fairy fountain is gone too.
How much have you personally explored here?
In this mode, less than 2 hours.
Okay, I know you know a lot, so it seems like you've talked to the community a lot about what's possible.
Yeah, exactly. Like the only thing that I think people have explored this mode a lot, and the only real interesting thing was playing the Lurline gambling minigame, which gives you the ability to warp back.
Right.
Because when you play the minigame, the entire world reloads to make sure that there's actual RNG in terms of what chest will contain the reward. And that will also reset that flag that you can't warp. So you can warp, and that's the only change. And I'm also, when I heard that, I was like, there's no way, there's gotta be more. And maybe there is. But like I said, we could probably explore this world. This is a new world. Like, that's why I think this is interesting, because this is a new Breath of the Wild that you can explore again and find out new routes about. Like Mado disappearing.
Right, exactly.
And it looks like, I don't know if it's not loaded, but maybe the wooden stuff isn't loaded in there. I don't know. There's a lot to find out. But I think this is also where we can probably
wrap up, I guess, maybe.
Wrap up and just tell people that you can go out and explore this world yourself.
Okay. Well, let's do a little wrap up together. And oh my gosh, this has been so much fun. So, man, what have you all thought of this? Oh, there you go. You had me. Here's the cat. This is a cat. He was dying to come in. So this is Momo. And Momo, did you have fun watching? No, you couldn't watch because we were trying to have a nice time. All right, so this has been absolutely fantastic. I really appreciate you coming on the show once again, especially because it was really late for you, and being able to show us all this amazing stuff. I had no idea about all of the like end map. I don't know what you would call it. It's like the new map. Really
Yeah.
cool. So I just want to say a big thank you. Now, to those who enjoyed this or are interested in more stuff or would like to see more of you, which I absolutely please recommend giving them follow everywhere. Where can we find you and what are you working on? What are your future plans?
So you can find me on Twitch, on twitch.tv/limcube, where I stream this game still a lot, almost every day. And we do speedruns. Recently I've done a glitchless 100% run, kind of like re-exploring the game myself. Whenever there's a new glitch, I will probably do it on my stream and explain people how to do it. And that's kind of what I've done in the past for this game. I made the first big any % tutorial. I covered most big discoveries. Also, when they got found on my YouTube channel, where I am too, just Limcube. I, for example, made a tutorial for that extended shield clip that I just told you to look up, which you can learn to clip out of the barrier yourself and explore endgame Hyrule. And that's pretty much why I'm active.
Do you have videos for like you have videos for multiple different clips and glitches that you can do, like tutorials already,
Pretty
right?
much. I have tutorials for the wind bombs, for the clips, for all of the
Master
bigger
Sword.
things that you can do. Master swords, exactly. That's maybe one thing that I really worked hard on that I would, if you want to see if you want to have more background information, a video I did on the lowest % channel, which is just called Getting the Master Sword in 17 minutes or something.
Right. Yeah.
That was probably one of the videos I worked the most on of every video I made. I definitely put my heart into it because it's such a fun category that had such a crazy progression. But yeah, that is pretty much it for me. My plans are I'm gonna be playing this game maybe in the future. I'll go for the max % challenge. I'm getting close to 5,000 hours in this game. I mean, this is my favorite game. But again, I will also not stop there. When the sequel comes out, I will immediately, I will probably, just like everybody, enjoy it a lot casually. And then as soon as people are running, I'll be running it too.
Which would be like day one.
Yeah, pretty much.
Take one day to play it and then you're already speedrunning. Which I know, yeah, like so many people do. Okay, awesome. Well, please go give Lim a follow. Go check out those videos. There's a lot of content out there that you can watch. He's been involved with other GDQ things. We spoke before at, like we were talking about at the beginning, at another main stage GDQ. It was awesome. This is why I was like, he'd be a great person to have on the show. The cat. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. This has been fantastic. We may or may not have another Zelda game this month because it just happened to line up that way for my guests, but can't get enough Zelda, can't get enough Breath of the Wild. Yeah, I'm so pumped for the next one whenever it decides to come out. So yeah, thank you all so much for being here. Again, please go follow Lim. Feel free to check out other episodes of this show as well if you would like to. We've had some awesome runners on. We've had other Zelda games featured as well, like Ocarina of Time. That was a doozy because oh my gosh, it's Ocarina of Time. But yeah, lots of other shows you can check out, and lots of other hotfix shows too. Speaking of other hotfix shows, we have tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm sorry, cat. So tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, we have Random Number Generation, which is a fantastic show because that's all randomizers and things. And that's, again, 7 p.m. Eastern. Final Fantasy 1, there is a Pixel Remaster randomizer. And after that, we have Aimbot, which is all about shooters. That features Time Shift and Time Splitters too. So I guess there's a time theme going on. So yeah, check those out. AGDQ 2022 is coming up soon, and I don't want to give anything away, but I was just busy with my lovely interview team this weekend doing some stuff. AGDQ is coming up. We're doing some stuff. Anyway, so get excited for that. And yeah, can't wait to see you all enjoying that event. And thank you again for being here. I'm Kungfufruitcup, your host. Limcube was amazing today. Please go follow him, and we
Thank you
will.
guys for watching.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Yes, and thank you. Thank you again for being here tonight. And yeah, we will see you next time. Have a great night and happy holidays.